Beautiful thing. Welcome to the Dweebs and Weebs podcast, everybody. I'm Bug Fang, and this is my co-host Mise. And this totally isn't our fourth try doing this intro. And the last two were definitely not my fault.
I've been up for over 36 hours. I don't need that. I don't need that. At this point, it's fucking yours.
Keep you up for 36 hours.
At this point, it's yours.
That's not how that works.
At this point, it's yours.
If Thanos snapped yesterday, you'd be dead today.
Well, no. I took an online test that said I took a BuzzFeed test
that says you're part of the 50%.
Yeah.
You know, statistically, it's way more than 50% of the Earth that got snapped away. You know why? Because the snap also made a significant portion of the population directly cause them to be injured or die. Thanks to planes falling out of the sky, cars crashing, horrible injuries everywhere. So actually, it wasn't just that 50% went away. It was probably like 55% of the population got essentially snapped away or dead, all in the same moment. And then another 10% over the next, probably 20 days.
Now here's the real...
And that's without the world unrest and global conflict and shit that might have happened.
Now here's the real question. When they reversed it and decided to bring people back,
it essentially brought back more people than were left afterwards. Yeah,
I thought it was going to be less people.
No, because remember, if you snap away 50% and then another 5 to 15% die afterwards, you're left with 35 to 40% of the population. And the entire point of the snap was that they don't really come back. Birth rates also decline. Everyone is in modern cultures, and all of a sudden, and according to the reports from Endgame, global conflict actually came to a halt basically overnight, and all remaining capital was essentially more equitably shared, meaning that everyone was brought up to first world standards, which also means a global decrease in birth rate, not just amongst first world countries like it was already happening. Which means that when the reverse snap happens, it brings back not only a majority of the population now because of all the deaths, but a unbelievable amount of the population, and also leads to more deaths because they pop back into places that are like freeways and shit with cars driving because they got snapped away at freeways and shit with cars driving.
Imagine being that person who got snapped off in the airplane, but you get snapped in the exact same position. So you're just in the air and you start free falling.
Or even if you get snapped back into the airplane, you get snapped back into the airplane, but now it's halfway underground. Because it crashed.
That's morbid. Okay.
Welcome to the Avengers Endgame / Infinity War Snap Attack feature.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
We're gonna call it Snap Attack.
No, but this week
it's gonna be a recurring thing.
No, but this week we're going back to last year because apparently we're gonna talk about it because apparently it's a. I'm going to assume it's a point of contention between the both of us as this wow. Man, I bet people in the audio are going to love that.
That was for you, audio listeners.
Man. But, we're going to be talking about Dandadan and all the shit, and we're probably going to have a lot of contention.
Man, why you got to phrase it like that? Now you sound like a hater, all the shit. God,
because I know what's coming. We have been doing this podcast.
Such a downer.
We have been doing this podcast for 6 years now. I know when it's going to be a good podcast, when it's going to be a podcast where we're both going to hype each other up, or a podcast where we're both going to hate on something. But I also know those podcasts where it's going to be a contentious ass. It's It's going to be a contentious ass episode.
That's not what this one.
I think it's going to be contentious.
What's contentious about saying Dandadan is a mediocre, well-animated piece of work?
Wait. First of all, that's just not right. And second of all, do you want to start? Okay, two-part
build
question.
a snowman.
What?
Do I want to build a snowman?
I said, do you want to start? And you said, build. Do you want to
start?
Do you want to start building a snowman?
Yeah.
No, we are in California. We ain't got that.
Well, go up to the mountains and we do. We just don't have it here in Marin. Don't have it in the Bay Area, does it?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like we got it up north.
Only mountains I like going to, that was the Sierras. That's bias.
I thought you said you hadn't been to Tahoe before.
Sierras, Tahoe?
No, I'm just saying I thought you haven't been.
I haven't been to Tahoe, yeah.
Then how do you have a preference between two mountain ranges if you haven't been to the second one?
You know what? You know what?
Like, man, I've got a preference for this shit.
That's so fucking true, though.
Hey, you made it back.
Oh, he's going to keep doing that.
He goes.
Oh, well.
Yeah, he's going to do it every time.
Well...
Down here where you can't see, there's a new addition to the family. His name is... Oh, I got you now. His name is Scrumpy.
He is a cutie.
He's a scrumpy little guy.
He is a very cute.
Look how cute he is. He always looks a little guilty or a little worried. Always. And we love that about him.
He's also a very curious dog. Okay.
He keeps opening the door. And I swear I heard it click this time. All right, bye, dude.
Okay, so... Do you want to...
They already heard my opinion.
Do you want to jump into it?
We should jump into your opinion.
Okay, hold on. Do you want to jump into... Do you have anime that you've watched this week? Or not really that much? Because, I will say this. We do have some comments we could read. But I don't know if you want to do that before or after.
We should read some comments. That way I can respond to them afterwards. Or for people who that like being featured in the podcast, like maybe some of them may enjoy being featured in the podcast.
We'll see.
Getting to hear a verbal response. And then I'll just repeat my response in the comments afterwards. By the way, do I have our YouTube login? Is it the same as the email login?
Yeah, but they're not on YouTube.
Oh,
my YouTube actually has a beginning.
Then maybe that's how we can do it. I'll directly reply to people on our YouTube comments, and then we can cover some of our other more inflammatory comments and such from our other places here because you can repeat them.
You picked the one platform we got the least amount of comments on.
Yeah, but it's the one I'm willing to engage with because I'm not reinstalling those other apps or installing for the first time in at least one case.
There's so many.
Guys, I'm not on Twitter,
no, it's
Xer.
It's not Twitter.
Not on Twitter.
We actually don't post. We don't have a Twitter. I need to build a Twitter.
I'm not on Instabook.
Technically you are.
I am. Oh, I am technically twice. I think.
Yeah.
I think I actually made an entertainment login at one point.
We do have a lot of comments on Instagram. That's when you at least.
If I can find a secure plugin for Instagram that's just comments with no videos, I'll check the Linux sphere, see if someone's made a custom UI for.
Bro, it's not that bad. Just download Instagram.
Nah, bruh.
What is your...
You know what? If I can have a secure device, actually, I kind of do now. I've got this shitty old Apple tablet thing. I'm just using it as a multifunction display for video games.
I will also say, if you go too far, I'm locking you out. I hope you know that.
What does that mean?
I mean, like, if you start antagonizing comments
I would never antagonize a commenter.
That's a lie.
No, it's not. Even
you are lying to my face.
So no, my comment history, even just my personal one, let alone professional ones or semi-professional ones, such as when I'm representing the podcast. But just look at my personal history. I do not antagonize other people. The only time that might be considered, depending on your viewpoint, so my comments would be considered antagonistic is in response mirroring someone else's antagonism. It's not a first strike antagonism. It's someone keeps on shitting on a public set of postings, and I use their energy to come back at them. That's the only time it'll happen. And usually I'm so lame that when I do so, they're like, man, you sound boring. Like literally the most recent time this happened, they were like, man, you sound so boring. I'm like, yeah, I'm basically a fucking like childless dad who just comments on long description. Yeah, I'm just responded to you, bro. That's it. I'm boring. I do long posts, but I don't antagonize, and when someone is being antagonistic, my way of re-antagonizing them is boring them to death. I bore them so much they stop being a troll. I out-troll trolls just by being me. That's a beautiful thing.
One of the comments were right. You really are just a baldy yapper.
That's true. You're right, commenter. I'm with you.
Okay, so do you want to start with comments? Okay. Or no, we should leave comments towards the end, actually.
Yeah, we'll do comments towards the end. We've already kind of started with the Dandadan stuff. God damn, that fucking piece of pretzel keeps dying. Next time I bring pretzels in my room, babe, better be in a fucking bowl.
I'm sorry.
Fucking hand.
Pretzel will fire though. Okay. Do you have anything you've watched this week at the very least?
I engaged with some anime and manga stuff, but nothing watching.
Why do you say things like that?
Well, because some of it is just engagement. Some of it is like public or social engagement without actual reading or watching. So like I'm commenting on a YouTube video or something. Man, that is going to be annoying.
It is. Just know that the puppers want sense.
They can hear that the puppers want some.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to just.
They can hear it. I can't leave it open though. We can't be antagonizing my sister with our loud ass voices without a barrier.
Yeah, this episode, I can tell this episode is going to be.
All right, we're gonna try and lock the pupper in here with us.
No, because then he's gonna want to go out.
That's fine. Maybe he won't scratch going out. Maybe we're enough for him.
Can we?
It's possible. It's just because no one else is in the other half of the house.
Are we able to close the hallway door? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but you would still hear the scratching.
Not as much though.
Also, no, we shouldn't because he fell in the pool and doesn't know how to swim. So we need to be able to respond if he's
all right.
Come on, dude. Come on, inside.
You cannot do that. You cannot scratch at the door and not be outside. Put him on like your bed or some shit.
Alright. We got a poppers. A whole bed for a poppers. Yeah, I love you, little dude. His name is Scrumpy, by the way. For the record. We didn't name him that. He came like that.
Alright, so go ahead.
But we like the name.
Alright, so go ahead. Go ahead and talk about what you've engaged with in the anime stuff.
Alright, so gone to
I knew it! Oh my god! Oh no.
He's just scratching.
Oh, he's just
exploring, dude.
Yeah.
Gone to a conversation that you are very familiar with now. I'm in a continued argument with my friends Limo to Timo and Loftusius. I'm trying to. Oh my god, fucker!
I know it.
About what constitutes anime. And they take an even more extreme position than most other people online.
God, okay. We're not going to linger on this because this is
itself. This is planned as a whole thing.
Yeah, anyway, this in itself could be a 4-hour episode.
It could. So the discussion is what constitutes an anime versus not. They make some pretty big claims that even a good amount of our more well-informed audience
why you gotta
disagree with.
Why you gotta say it like that?
So like they disagree that stuff like Castlevania. I'm gonna include all of these because they disagree with all of these.
But they're not anime.
Yeah, Castlevania, Arcane,
hold on.
Avatar: Last Airbender, not anime.
I'm surprised Castlevania. That one's kind of widely accepted as like.
They bit the bullet on that one after I told them that it was an American production or Canadian production, whatever it was. Because they couldn't find. I couldn't get them to admit a distinguishing difference in style and community between Avatar: Last Airbender and Castlevania, and they were hard. They are like hardliners about Avatar: Last Airbender not being an anime. So
okay. Sorry, it's part of the this anime wrap up section. Did you hear the news?
What news? Oh, is this about Avatar?
God damn it!
That's not news. We have known that for months and months.
I did it, bitch. Stuart did it.
We just hadn't gone the official comment about it. We had the rumor as far back as like I think October.
That's a rumor. That's not you knowing. That's like that. No, that's different.
These days, I haven't had a fucking rumor about a thing that didn't end up being true. Okay,
cool.
That the studio had that project in development.
That still happens to some of us, bitch.
I think what we're talking about is the confirmation of the next Avatar show involving the next Avatar, the Earthbending Avatar.
Yeah. Which is that how the cycle goes? Is after water, does it go Earth?
Air, water, earth, fire. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. Because remember, the last one before Aang was Roku of the Fire Nation.
Yes.
And the one before him was what's her face? No.
Oh, Kyoshi.
Kyoshi. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
And then before her, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Because I was so I guess
it doesn't always alternate sexes, but it does always alternate in the 4 element cycle.
Okay, I'm very interested to see if the lovers theory holds up. I don't know if that's what it's called, but what
the fuck lovers theory?
Basically, every avatar's partner. With every avatar, they have a partner, and the next avatar
sometimes multiple.
Yeah, but like they'll have like a main one or a main thing.
Arguably, Korra doesn't have a main partner then, at least not in the main series. If you involve the comics, she does. But I would be hard pressed to admit she has a main romance.
I would say,
given that I would call her main romance didn't even become an official romance until the last scene of the last episode.
I would say.
It is hard to call her
regardless, the theory goes
without expanded canon. It's hard to say that.
So I would basically the theory goes is that every avatar's partner, their partner, is gonna be what the next avatar looks like.
That's broken by avatars without partners. We know there are some avatars in history without partners. Some of the air nomads did functionally have no partners.
I think the theory works.
In fact, I think famously the woman Aang spoke to didn't have a partner.
Which one?
The air nomad that told
him? No, she did have a partner.
Did she?
She did have a partner.
Was that made later in expanded canon and not originally?
I actually don't know.
It was in the YA novel.
Yeah, she has a partner. And it does look like Avatar Karuk. Kavik does look a lot like Avatar Karuk.
So, you're saying that Korra's partner's face is going to show up now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Potentially.
Kasumi?
No. Yeah, Kasumi is going to be.
Wait, no, is that really her name?
I actually don't know. I was kind of agreeing because it sounds right.
Fuck, I don't remember her name. I don't remember a lot of their names now.
Yeah.
You're like, ones I do are like weird side characters or animals.
Regardless, though, I am.
So it's time to rewatch some Avatar Korra.
Yeah, would be good for a decent episode.
No, I used to rewatch Atla every year, and I haven't seen it in 2 years now.
Nice. I haven't watched that in.
I used to do Korra every 2 years, and now I haven't seen it.
Oh my god!
I
think it's now been a little over a decade since I've watched it. It's been a minute.
Avatar: Last Airbender? Might have been.
No.
Have you never watched it with me? Have we never watched Avatar together?
No.
Dude.
I know. I'm just as shocked as you are. Also, that's not true. I remember watching it I remember rewatching Avatar during the pandemic.
We should probably watch that together.
We should. It should be. It should be an episode. It's not long.
Well, each season isn't very long. That's not even true. Season 1 goes by pretty quick. Season 2 feels pretty long, and Season 3 goes by pretty quick.
After watching One Piece, nothing feels long. Nothing feels long to me. And I'm not even done yet. I'm still at like the bottom half.
Oh my God. Okay, so One Piece isn't an anime.
That's just wrong. But okay. Anyways,
it's a scam.
Stop! Don't do this. Don't. You've already here. I'll give you a little hint for the comment section. You're already pissed. Hold on, stop, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm listening to you. Okay. I'm listening.
A little spoiler. Speak to me.
A little spoiler for the comment section. You've already pissed off Dragon Ball fans. You don't need to piss off
everybody else. Dragon Ball fans. Y'all fucking cope too much.
No! Stop!
Y'all are too incel-y about your own fandom. It's all weird. Like, you don't have a good show. It's okay.
Bro, we got so many comments. Bro, we got so many comments across TikTok.
It's okay. Your show is overrated as fuck and you bought in because you watched it as a child. It's okay. You can move on to better things now.
You're a dick. You're a fucking dick. Jesus fucking Christ. Anything else you watched? And I'm giving you this chance because I
read some stuff. I didn't watch some stuff. I read a one-off because you told me to keep an eye out for one-offs that we could cover, especially in manga, so we could expand what we're doing. So I did one, and it was good enough that I think we should probably cover it. It has plenty of interesting things to talk about, and it's a one-off, so it's just one volume. It's easy peasy.
Shoot my way. Also,
I gave my physical copy to Ember, but I can order you a copy at the bookstore if you want, or you can just wait for a copy.
Yeah, fair. Also, I didn't know this. Apparently, there's like a monthly manga service that exists now.
Yeah, I can't afford shit like that though. I work in a bookstore, so I get what I get for 45% off, and then often have a gift card to help complete the rest of it. I can't afford a monthly service that makes me pay a premium to get a bunch of junk I don't even want half the time.
Expand your horizon sometimes, nigga. Damn.
Anyway, the other thing was,
damn.
I ordered the first 3 volumes of.
Do you want to be in your little fucking box? You don't want to just expand your fucking palette for a little bit? Maybe explore outside your own lights.
I do expand my palette, but part of expanding my palette does not have to be a subscription service for shit that I have no use for, such as toys, gimmicks, crap I don't have space for. If it were just manga, maybe that would be one thing. But at that point, why not just get a monthly subscription to Shonen Jump where I know I'll be bought in every month to at least one or two of the
that's what it is. It is just manga.
Again, then why wouldn't I just subscribe to something like Shonen Jump where I know I'll be bought into the same storyline every week or every month?
You're no fun, bro. It's supposed to be like a surprise. They just curate a little box for you that they just give.
And what if I already have whatever manga it is?
No,
actually, I talk to my special buyers at the bookstore, and I often get stuff before it's available.
No, that would not be the case because everything they do, they give the volume 1 of. So it is usually.
I still might already have it because again,
you're boring.
You're boring. You're
an elitist. You're up your own ass. You're a snob. You're a loser. You're a loser.
As someone who currently works in a bookstore, I have access to books you guys don't.
You're a loser. You're an elitist and a loser. You're a snob. You're a prick. You're up your own ass.
Speaking of having access to books, I bought the first 3 volumes of that Tsutomu Nihai manga I hadn't read yet. The one, whatever Snowfield. I forget what the anime that came out was.
Awesome. You feel happy about yourself?
And I did see that Tsutomu Nihai is about to put out, or has already been putting out in Japanese, a dark fantasy manga.
Oh man,
that looks fantastic.
Those, huh? Man, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you love those.
I do. I've pre-ordered the English version already. I think it comes out in June.
Awesome. Enjoy manga. Lead as shit.
I don't know why you're such a hater. I have like a legit reason to not want a random subscription service, and I have tons of access to manga.
I was just being a dick. It's not funny. I was trying to make a bit. It's not funny.
What about you? What have you been consuming?
So much.
Is
this the
wait. Another thing the anime community will appreciate that I've been consuming a lot of, Monster Hunter. Unironically, Monster Hunter. I've been playing Wilds on PC again.
I'm
sorry, World on PC again. Getting ready for Wilds release tomorrow. I've got the preload.
I get paid on Thursday. I'm so ready.
Yeah. You guys send me any of that money ever?
You don't need to talk about that
on the podcast. What? Yeah.
That's private issues.
Oh, okay.
That's private issues.
Okay.
That's private issues.
Okay. Make sure you get Wilds though.
Well, now you just made me feel bad.
Hey, if we do some hunts together, I won't care.
Well, that's the point. But now we could have. See, this is what I mean. You're not fun. We could have just been hyped about something, and now I can't put my heart in it now.
Okay, this is on you.
Man.
No, you
don't know how to read fucking cues. When you could have just
what
fed
cue is there to read?
You could have fed into the excitement. When you could have been like, oh yeah, I'm so excited for Wilds. I was like, oh Wilds, I'm so excited. I can't fucking wait. And then you fucking.
See, it doesn't like what you're doing. Just now you're not reading cues. Just break it and continue.
No!
You made such a fucking mountain out of a molehill. Oh my goodness. Fucking little drama queen. Move on.
You are a mountain.
Move on. That's what she said.
That doesn't make any fucking sense.
That one actually does.
No, it doesn't.
Really?
Yes.
You can't see how a comparison to extremely large size and tallness might have something to do with sex.
I'm not gonna lie. If some girl is calling your dick a mountain, that's terrifying. That's a terrifying visual.
And that's the point.
That's not cool. That's not good.
Some chicks are into that.
We're done here. We're done with you.
Yeah,
we're done with you here. So I've actually been consuming a lot of shit.
I'm kind of worried about Wilds.
We're past that train. I don't care anymore. I would actually okay having a segment where we talked about Wilds.
You weren't, because you moved on from it immediately into your own weirdness.
You wanted me to move. Fuck you. Anyways. So, I've been consuming a lot of shit because the last time we did an actual proper recap has been November. Since we released the first episode that we had coming back. So,
sure.
I've had a lot of shit. So, I'm just going to rapid fire give my shorts opinions on a lot of stuff because I've been watching a lot of fucking shit. I think I already talked about the winter stuff I was watching. So, I'm not going to talk about those. Except for Blue Box. Blue Box is so good. But I stopped watching it because I had to do fucking other seasonal shit. But once it's finished, I'm going to binge the fuck out of it. And you should watch it too because Blue Box is really good.
I watch it. Whenever I don't, have other shit to watch.
No, he doesn't like it. He doesn't like it. He thinks it's overrated and he thinks it's not worth his time. He might think it's cute and it's quaint, but he might look at it as whatever. I already know. It's whatever.
You're talking about the soccer anime, right?
No, that's Blue Lock.
Oh. Blue Box.
Blue Box is... Well, it's also sports
anime. Is that
anime.
the painting anime?
No, that's Blue Period.
Okay. What the fuck is Blue Box then?
Blue Box is funny enough. It is also a sports anime, but it's a sports romance anime.
Wait, why wouldn't I like that?
That's what I'm saying. No, you would like it.
One of my favorite anime of all time is a sport.
I know it is. That's what I'm saying. You might like this one, and we can resonate, be happy with each other, and not fight. I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. Huh?
Is it out? Is it done?
It's on Netflix. It's not done yet.
I'll wait.
That's 20. It's in the 25 episodes, so it's gonna finish at the end of winter.
I'll wait then.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm waiting too because I'm already doing way too much shit. I guess I'll talk about at least. Oh, I got so much shit I need to talk about. I talk about anime. I talk about manga. And I talk about video games because I've actually played some anime video games surprisingly.
Oh yeah, I kind of did too.
Well, now it's
since we last did an update.
Well, now it's my turn, so shut up.
Alright, fine. Besides, we'll probably talk about the same ones unless all you've been watching or playing are those fucking garbage. Oh my god. Never mind. Continue listening to your
For context, listeners, listen, watch this. He's talking about gachas. I've only been playing one, but I've been playing it and it's not great, but I'm kind of addicted to it right now. I also downloaded one that I probably shouldn't download, but it's fine. Anyways.
Start with that one.
No.
Start with that one.
No.
What did you download that you shouldn't download?
No.
What?
Nikki.
Which one's that?
That was the one that's doing the crossover with Stellar Blade.
Is that the one with the butts?
Yeah.
One Derek showed me with just the booty jiggle physics. You actually start playing that game?
I haven't yet, but it's on my PC.
Why not just get Stellar Blade? Then we could talk about that. It has crossovers with a whole bunch of shit we could talk about.
It has stuff with Nier, and I love Nier.
I know, exactly. It's canonically part of the Nierverse after Yoko Taro said so.
I don't know. Oh, she needs to show me proof of that, because I don't believe you. But still, regardless. But, no, I'm not talking. I haven't even played it, so I'm not talking about Nikki right now. Anime though, let me shoot through real quick on my list. I've been watching an anime called Tatsukari Hotel. It's cute, it's great. It's supposed to be a horror anime. It's not really super horror.
I'll be honest, a lot of horror anime aren't really.
I'm starting to realize that.
Yeah, they're really just like slice of life or shonen that are just like have a murder in it.
Oh yeah, a little bit actually. Yeah, Tatsukari Hotel is just. Yeah. Like it is taking place in the spirit world, but there's not really anything spooky happening. Like at best, you could call it maybe technically a murder mystery type shit. I think
there needs to be a separate genre for Shinto horror because it's not really horror; it's horror adjacent. It's potentially horror to Japanese culture, but it has nothing to do with horror as a genre outside of Japan. And certainly not this far west.
Yeah.
I get that there may be like a direct translation issue with the genre of horror and what is considered horrifying to a culture that has Shinto as such a big base of their belief system. But like, it's not really horror. Heck, a lot of what we consider portal fiction now started as like scary things. It's a scary thing to get whisked away into the spirit world, right? Yeah. And admittedly, that is something that can persist throughout Eastern and Western cultures, right? Like, God knows Germany has so many fucking stories about children getting whisked away into the forest. But it's different when it's not actually explicitly being horrific. It's just people are in a different... Like, no one would ever call Spirited Away a horror movie, even though it's about a little girl whose parents are turned into pig monsters that is whisked away into a horrific world in which they have to encounter a no-faced man-gobbling creature as well as multiple angry gods.
Yeah, like if you explain the premise of Spirited Away, it can sound horrifying. But once you look at it, you're like, I was misled so fucking hard. Yeah.
If you watch that, you're like, oh no, it's just a Ghibli show. Yeah. It's not a fucking horror. Like,
I agree. But yeah, no, Tatsukari Hotel is literally everything you just said. I've been watching Sakamoto Days.
I've also, actually, you know what? That is something I forgot.
Oh, that's right, because it's actually coming out dubbed.
It's coming out dubbed and it's on Netflix. I've watched the first 3 episodes of that. It's not as good as the... I have almost the exact same opinion of it as I do Dan, honestly.
That...
Almost the exact same. It's just to a different scale. Like...
I got a question. How do you feel about the animation for Sakamoto Days?
It's fine.
Okay, that's what I thought too. Everyone has been such on the hubbub about it, where it's like, bro, this animation is god-awful. I'm like, you don't know what god-awful animation looks like, friend.
It's definitely not god-awful.
Yeah, everyone's just like, bro, they dropped the ball in the animation. I'm like, what are we...
It's fine.
Yeah, it's like, what are we on about? What?
It's even on the good side of fine.
Yeah, they went... Are you on season 2 of Blue Lock yet or no?
Blue
Lock. That's the soccer one. That's
no.
Okay.
Never finished season 1. In fact, like I told you last time we talked about it, I had to restart season 1 because it's been so long since I had seen it.
That was in November.
Yeah. Remember, I haven't seen anything since.
Okay, actually, all right. That's right.
Anything since.
Oh, okay, you're right. Yeah,
what little I have watched, we've talked about.
You did say that. But I watched Sakamoto Days. I don't hate it, but it's one of those it's the situation of you were hyped up, and honestly you're not bad, but the hype just kind of. My expectations were raised a bit higher than they should have, honestly, and I can acknowledge that. But it's one of those things where
do you know why?
Like, do I personally know why, or are you going to give me like the meta reason for that you think? So?
I'm going to give my reason why.
Okay, go.
It's kind of like Spy X Family. Is that what it is?
Don't you fucking! I'm going to fart on your face.
It's a bit overrated.
No.
And
no. What is this? What? No.
Part of that is because,
wait. No. Zip it. No. Zip it. I will not have slander on this fucking podcast about Spy X Family. We're not doing this.
Spy X Family has a whole segment of that show that's actually just boring as fuck to watch. It has a whole portion that
you just haven't experienced good family dynamics and you suck.
The characters are in a stagnant state for a significant portion of it. It's the main storyline isn't even occurring. And its B plots are pedestrian as fuck.
But you can't just.
And I'm not the only one that feels that way. In fact, the actual author for it felt that way about it.
Okay, but
he resents having been made to make it for so long.
I'm about to say there's a difference between you just being a boring fuck who needs to have this intellectual story built for him whenever he reads something, and
I'm literally the guy who's like, I love Pacific Rim so much, it's my second or third favorite film of all time. I'm sorry, what intellectual superiority is there in Pacific Rim?
You want to know what intellectual plot superiority in Pacific Rim? I'm going to take the shit that you said back in November because it's fresh in our minds and people have also been commenting on it. What? Every fucking big giant mega shit that you watch has evangelical undertones to it. Bitch!
Pacific Rim doesn't!
Yeah, you're a fucking liar and you're lying to yourself!
Hold on. What the fuck was the callback towards Jesus in the fucking... No. What fucking holy war was there? What crusade was it? What fucking call to godhood? I'm sorry. Did I miss something in Pacific Rim? The closest they came was the reveal at the end that aliens were sending creatures through, and that later in the canon it's revealed those might be humans from the future.
Yeah! Aliens! Demons! They're the fucking same, dog!
I want you, knowing what anime we're about to watch, we're about to talk about, to repeat that sentence to me. Repeat it. What did you just say?
Aliens! Demons! They're the fucking same,
and that's why Dandadan is shit and overrated.
Wait, what the fuck?
It treats demons and aliens the fucking same. Difference don't even matter. It canonically puts them both side by side and then mixes and matches them like they're fucking Mr. Potato Head pieces. It don't fucking matter. It's a garbage show.
Okay. We're gonna get. You went from mid to garbage real fucking quick, and you said that there wasn't gonna be any.
Sorry, it has garbage writing. It's a decent show because the animation saves it.
It does not have garbage writing. I fucking.
It has a disappointing OP.
No, it doesn't. Wow, you don't. Wow, plot. You just.
It has 2 episodes of actual genuine good. No, that's a lie. The writing is actually pretty good.
Okay,
character writing in particular is good.
Okay. I'm about to say, I'm like.
It's just saying that the plot is stupid and goes nowhere.
No, the plot's not fucking stupid.
Really? What's the plot?
Bro, the plot
What's the plot?
He's getting his fucking testicles back! Okay, you know what?
No,
stop. Apparently, we're just diving into it. Fuck what we watched, apparently. I had more shit to talk about, but I guess I'll save that for next week. Bro!
No, we should talk about
it. We're already here. Fuck it.
No,
nigga, you wanna fight? Nigga, you wanna rumble? Don't touch me, bitch. Don't touch me, bitch. We're gonna fight. I knew we were gonna fight. We're fighting, nigga. We're fighting.
Fresca.
Anyways, yes, the story is about fucking Okaru trying to get his fucking testicles back. But it's just a fun, silly plot. Sometimes you don't need some shit to be super deep like that. You can just
I agree. Sometimes you don't need stuff to be super deep, but when you have stuff that's insultingly shallow,
bro, it's just a bit of fun.
But it's not.
And it's the characters that have the story shine.
It's not just a bit of fun.
Bro, yes it is.
It's not framed as just a bit of fun.
Yes, it is. Come on now.
Alright. How hard do you want me to go on this?
I don't know.
Because I can go way harder than I actually feel because it's genuinely correct.
Yeah, we all think we're genuinely correct.
No. There is a set of opinions that I don't care about that are true, that are a criticism of this show. I don't even think I've heard of anyone saying that, but I also don't watch anime people anymore, I've discovered. They stopped getting recommended to me. I don't watch any of them. I haven't seen a Giggle video in, I can't remember last. I don't watch any of the rest.
Honestly,
Mother's Basement was the last one I watched. I think the last one, those I saw was sometime before last October.
They still come out. You just got to curate it. Also, I would not be surprised if your shit's just nothing but Star Citizen and other games at this point. Definitely a lot of Star Citizen. Definitely.
It does make sure to recommend 2 Star Citizen channels to me over and over again whenever they have new posts. But I've told the algorithm to stop recommending many of the channels that I think are just a bit below me.
You are so...
they keep publishing inaccurate information and stupid
This is the episode title! Episode 75! Bugfake's a fucking elitist! About everything!
I am!
And he's a fucking boring loser!
That's true!
Bugfake is a boring loser and elitist!
I support all those
Why do you embrace that, you loser? Boring elitist!
I, like everyone, like to have...
Don't lump everybody in with your bullshit!
Everyone enjoys content that they agree with in some way or another. Whether that's they agree to it because they can appreciate it, because they're predisposed to enjoying how it's made, or because they agree with the content directly, like what's being said they agree with. Everyone likes a circle jerk. I'm no different. My favorite form of circle jerk happens to be people who can out-intellectualize me, and it means that I get bored quickly of channels that can't do that. So if I do get sucked in by a channel that isn't on my level there, but is above my level somewhere else, like is entertaining me in some way, I'll stick with them hardcore for a while. But you know me, I laser focus on stuff. So by the time I've laser focused down and consumed all their content, or caught up to their content, or consumed as much of the content I'm interested in as possible, I become way less interested because I can break down their opinions. I can predict anything they say next time. And once that starts happening, I stop watching. If you become predictable enough to me and disagreeable enough to me, I just won't watch. If you're interesting enough that I can either not predict nor if I can fail to anticipate the points that you bring up, that's interesting to me. Or if I am entertained regardless of that, then I'll stick around with content. But the problem is when there's no additional entertainment for me, and I can no longer take anything away from what they're saying. So I move past, which means I move past content. Like most pieces of fiction don't hold me for long because there's enough content in them, right? Like you've seen me burn through anime after anime I love, never come back to it, right? Because there's nothing to come back to. Yeah. Like I love Mushoku Tensei. Once that is completed and I've read the light novels, that's it. There's nothing else. There's never going to be a great Mushoku Tensei multiverse. It's not going to be a thing. There's no many dozen more years of like with Star Wars and Marvel Comics and all the other shit that I'm constantly still keeping up with to some extent.
Only you were a One Piece fan.
If One Piece were... That's the problem, though. One Piece failed to entertain me and failed to be intellectually stimulating to me. It failed on both levels, and then also managed to have the most dog shit art style of all time.
It's not that bad.
Okay, bro, to be fair, that was my opinion back when I didn't watch anime much. Remember, One Piece really put me off early on of anime because I didn't like its art style. I already didn't like anime art styles in general.
Honestly,
because I was hardcore used to like traditional Western animation and comic books. So it took a lot to buy me into the style. It took much higher intellectual quality to buy me into styles I disagreed with.
Honestly, though,
the earliest anime I hated the art style of that got me to watch it anyways. I was a Girl Lagan, but I like the art style.
I was about to.
I dislike a lot of the extreme body proportions. Anything with weird, unhealthy body proportions does kind of. It's just kind of to me.
I'm okay if it does it in an absurdist way. If it's like purposely done to be like
unless it's
silly,
unless it's like, intellectual enough to pull off absurdism well, it doesn't interest me. Thankfully, that studio does do absurdism and intellectualism well.
It's like all just hitting me now. Like,
yeah, of course I'm boring. You know I'm boring.
How do we have like hour-long conversations, man? How do we do this?
Because I'm boring and moderately intelligent.
Oh, I don't know about that.
And with a different enough perspective from you that I can continue talking in ways that you don't normally consider things.
I think it's just boring, but
anyhow. No, it's the one with Lelouch.
Kokias?
Yeah, Kokias. I hated the art style.
Okay.
The weird, overly skinny people with the like stick figure things.
Yeah,
hated that shit.
The pencil.
The writing was good enough. The plot was good enough that I watched that whole series, and it brought me back. I was about to drop anime as a whole again, right when I saw it for the first time, right after high school. You can probably thank Code Geass for me continuing it. Code Geass and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood brought me back from the brink.
That's good. That's good, though.
Is it?
Oh, yeah, because then we wouldn't be doing this.
That's true. I might be having a more productive life.
Damn! Okay, then fuck you. God!
Imagine a world where I never got into anime and I focused all that attention somewhere else that whole time. It'd probably just be into more video games, honestly.
Can you just look at like anything in a positive light?
I always look at everything in a positive light.
It doesn't feel like it.
Actually, that's true. I actually just look at everything under light, and I recognize that both the positive and negatives come back to me, and I'm okay with that. I like both of them. I like those negatives as much as I like those positives. My enjoyment is not derived from agreeing with
Do we want to talk about Dandadan before I get weird the fuck down?
Or we can go back to what you watched.
No, we're past that.
All right, then yeah, we should talk about Dandadan, yeah.
All right.
So people know my intro opinion. What's your intro opinion?
Oh, it's a 10 out of 10. Oh, it's a 10 out of 10.
It's a 10 out of 10.
It's
a 10 out of 10.
Are you going to let me fucking talk? It is a 10 out of 10 anime. I think it is an anime that has freshened up the shonen genre a lot. That it feels different in the sense that it brings back a little bit of that whimsy that you would used to feel. And I've seen this a lot with a lot of people, where it brings back that whimsical excitement that I feel like a lot of shonen have kind of lost over the past like 5-6 years, which is. I don't hate a lot of those. I don't hate a lot of those shonen. I mean, Jujutsu Kaisen is literally my fucking top 10. But
I would argue you do hate a lot of those shows.
List 5 of those shows, and I promise you I don't hate those.
All right, shonen that have come out in the past 5 or so years.
Yes,
you said shonen that I believe do have that whimsy. It just doesn't matter because they're garbage. Black Clover.
Terrible.
Exactly. Thank you for proving my point with just the first one.
I said 5.
Okay.
And also, I'd argue it doesn't have
what's
that
fairy tale sequel that came out?
Oh, there's like Eden of the East?
Sure. No, Eden of the East is a movie trilogy about a hacker, and it is Eden something, but it's not.
I haven't watched it, and that's
unless it shares a title with
it. I feel like it's Eden something.
I do think it's like Eden Zero or something though.
It's that sounds closer.
Right?
But I never got the chance to watch it. It's just it got lost in the rigmarole.
Sure. Okay, then replace that with Fairy Tail, which did also come out in the last 5 years.
No, it didn't. Fairy Tail was like
it's had movies come out in the past 5 years.
Yes, okay, no. When we come
on,
be better than that. I give you
is a shonen that is continuing.
Come on, no.
Oh, then we're not going to count the movies when it comes to something like, I don't know, Demon Slayer. Like they just don't count as part of it.
No, but when I think of the anime,
the movies for One Piece don't count as part of it. No. Okay. The movies for Dragon Ball don't count.
When I meant release, I meant like the new ones, not fucking.
That is new.
No, it's not. When I meant like new, like the ones that come out in like in the 5 years. Like promised them, huh?
Bleach.
First of all, I would still disagree, but also you're really gonna bring that one up when my last name is the last name of the main character?
I am, because it disproves a different point of yours. If you say that you enjoy Bleach and agree that it can be whimsical, then it again meets the condition of something that came out in the past 5 years that has that whimsy.
Bro, but
next, JoJo. Or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Is all whimsy. Don't even.
It's different. JoJo's in a different feel when it comes to that. Oh, hold on. Actually, let's go back. Wait. Let's go back to the Bleach thing. Bleach is not whimsy. Let's get that fucking straight.
Bleach
is like edgy. Let's be real with ourselves. Bleach is very edgy.
Bleach, like Naruto, is edgy. Also, like Naruto, it has comedy. It has comic relief characters. It has it has.
You can have comic relief characters, but just because you have comic relief characters doesn't mean that you have whimsy.
Okay. In that case, Monster number 8.
Kaiju number 8.
Cut. In English, it's.
I know it is, but it's like if we started calling Jujutsu Kaisen Sorcery Fight. We're not gonna call it Sorcery Fight.
Except for even in English, it's still called Jujutsu Kaisen.
No, in English, it's Sorcery Fight.
No, when you look at Crunchyroll, the title for the English dub, which is separated from the sub, is Jujutsu Kaisen.
They don't give you the English title like that, dog. They just use the most popular title. They don't
exactly,
do it
but they do give you the title Monster 8 when you look at it on Netflix.
Okay, we're gonna have to look that the fuck up because I actually don't.
In fact, they did it with the manga. Manga says Monster 8 on it in English.
You're gonna have to show me that. I don't believe you. No. We're in the middle of a discussion, but like. Just mental note for later, like those two things. You gotta show me that, and then we'll dress it.
I can show you the manga as soon as we go to.
Yeah.
Anyway, are you really saying that's not whimsical? Full of whimsy, all over.
No,
you're fucking lying.
I would say Kaiju.
You're full of bullshit.
I would say Kaiju number 8's not whimsical. I would not call Kaiju number 8 whimsical.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You and I watch that again, and you don't think there's going to be at least 4 jokes an episode?
Jokes don't make you have whimsy. Jokes does not equate to whimsy.
True. Having whimsical character does the thing try and lighten the mood with comedy often. If you want to say something is grimdark, there are still jokes in grimdark. But if you want to say something isn't whimsical, it can't have whimsy. If it has whimsy in it, if it has whimsical moments, it is whimsical. Dude. You're not saying it is in the genre of comedy. That wasn't what we contested. I'm contesting that it is whimsical in its nature somewhere. And that there are other things that are also whimsical that you are ignoring the whimsy of. And you're proving that point to me because I know Kaiju number 8 is heavily comedic. In fact, when we discussed it on the show, we had a complaint that the anime was more comedic than the manga was.
Okay.
It was more light, more levity, more whimsy than we expected from an already whimsical property.
You're going to get mad at this comment, but I do believe this. You can be comedical and not be whimsy. I think whimsy comedical.
You cannot be comedical without the spirit of whimsy, without being a dark comedy.
No, that's not true. Just look at all the Tyler Perry movies.
Look at all the what?
Look at all the Tyler Perry movies.
Those are dark comedies.
You can't do that. You can't Come on. You can't do that. Oh my fucking god, dude. Holy shit. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Okay, but regardless.
Okay, you, despite that somewhat inappropriate joke.
It was funny though.
It was accidentally set up so well. Like, it was just.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
So actually, I get what you mean. Yeah, something can be lack whimsy even though it's all comedy. I agree with that, but that requires a lack of effectiveness in writing. It's a failure. The reason why it isn't whimsical is also because it's not comedic. It's failed comedy, which is why it's not whimsical, because it's also not comical. If you are going for any form of light comedy, and succeeding, it is necessarily whimsical in nature. The lack of whimsy is basically how we define dark comedy. If something is like,
but that's
kind of sick and twisted, but still funny because of either the awkwardness of the situation or the way it parallels, the tragedy can be funny. Dark comedy is literally defined by the properties that we define as lack of whimsy.
But that's the thing with a lot of the shonen. Well, not all of the shonen that's come out.
I don't think they fail to be comedic. Kaiju number 8 does genuinely get me to smile. It is whimsical.
I don't. Okay, just because. Okay,
it rarely. Like, I would normally say that. Oh my god, you said it earlier and we both love it. Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
It is not. It's not light by any means.
Yeah.
Is absolutely whimsical in nature.
I would not call
the universe requires its whimsy in order to inflate the value of its characters. For example, no one would care about Gojo as much if he weren't a whimsical character. If he were always the weird, big ego, angry emo, he would have the same fans as every other version of that character who's just all angry emo. It's the same thing with the Naruto guy. The Naruto equivalent to Gojo. Yeah, Kakashi. Whimsical. Like, he reads porn. Like, it's a big joke. It's like, it is the whimsical properties of those characters that allow us to love them as much as we do.
I would not call Gojo or Kakashi whimsical, though.
Then you're misunderstanding what whimsy is. They're whimsical characters. Do they have entire arcs that are dark and edgy? Yeah, every whimsical character. In fact, this is seen in real life as much as is in fiction. The class clown always has a tragic backstory. No comedian has ever had a happy childhood.
Keep talking.
Is like a big meme. Whimsy does not preclude. It doesn't mean you can't have darkness.
I'm not saying you can't be whimsical and dark, but
are you really saying that Mr. Pink Hair main character is not a whimsical character?
No.
Dude, then you are fundamentally misunderstanding either the character or whimsy as a property.
I might not clearly know what I'm not looking for way. Can we
do we both agree that they play his character jokingly the majority of time he's on screen early on in the show?
Yeah, but I don't. Yeah, but I wouldn't. But that goes back to the thing. I wouldn't call something being joking whimsy.
You would if it's well spirited, and it is. Yes. What about him is non-whimsical?
I'm not gonna lie. I might have to bite the bullet, and I might not completely know the definition of whimsy, or I might be.
Hold on, before we actually get down to brass tacks with the actual definition, what is your understanding of whimsy? Because that's as important to get down to as anything else.
So when I think of whimsical, I guess I'm thinking of something that's. I think I've used it already, but something that feels like, for lack of a better term, something that's not how do I explain it? Not absurdist, but like something that is.
Playful?
No.
Maybe a bit quaint?
Oh.
Fanciful. Maybe head in the clouds a bit.
No, because that I would explain.
Does things on a whim.
I guess there's more like a rant. I guess it's more of like a absurd like a it would have like a.
Then you do have
more of like a comedic randomness.
Then I can
something that's a bit more
confirm you have a misunderstanding of what whimsy is.
Okay, what is the
whimsy is playfully quaint or fanciful behavior or humor, acting on a whim, a thing that is fanciful or odd. It's not extreme. It's quaint. He's whimsical because he's airheaded. The comedy is whimsical because it can be fanciful or quaint. There are quaint moments within...
Okay, what's the definition of quaint? this might just turn into an English... This might turn into like an English class lesson. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure. Quaint just means attractively unusual or maybe old-fashioned.
What I call these? Okay, first of all, we're not talking about Dandadan whatsoever. We've moved away somehow.
I know, we're talking about whimsy now. But, yeah.
Right.
By the way, these definitions are coming from Oxford Dictionary.
Would I call Yuji odd?
Yes, he's odd within his own universe. People comment on how his actions and behaviors are odd. They're odd and airheaded and playful and fanciful. Like, he's definitionally whimsy by all three base metrics.
I guess then, if I'm thinking about it more, I guess more of my issue is that I guess while there are still aspects that are odd in those animes that we've talked about, the world in the anime itself does not treat it whimsically. That's not true.
I'm going to use Kaiju number 8. Is absolutely whimsical. So we're going to use that quaint, that attractively unusual.
I'm not going to lie. We have to go back to Dandadan somehow.
We will. We'll bring it back. But first we're going to complete this. Monster number 8. The comedy, and not just the comedy, but
I love you.
character.
I love you so much.
Kaiju number 8.
Thank you.
Whatever. Kaiju number 8. The main character is definitionally a quaint character. His relationship with his other two main companions, both the girl and the boy, are quaint. It's oddly attractive. It's a monster who's interacting wholesomely with humans. It is an unusual or odd behavior that's attractive to the audience. It's definitionally quaint. It's whimsical. It's fanciful. It is fantastic that this monster is also just a wholesome little man. That's fanciful.
Maybe I'm more thinking about the world aspect, because when you bring up, because
the world is what we see, what we see isn't a grimdark. It's a world where all of the humans are quaint in some way. Even the darkest ones, the ones with the most tragic backstories, are all kind of quaint and wholesome when you get down to it. And all of their interactions that we get to see are. We don't get to see any truly bad actors in Kaiju number 8. Think about like the main general, or the guy who's training the squad, or the girl that he was in love with as a kid. Or, all of those people, all framed as kind of antagonistic, right? But all of their interactions, no matter how hostile to the main character, even when they're literally torturing the main character, are still oddly wholesome. It's a man who is in love with his wife and who has a very cute relationship with his daughter. They have moments. Heck, he has moments with the main character, despite the torture scene, of levity and cute quaintness. Like, they have weird little one-offs of respect, and they boil all relationships on the protagonist side down to whimsical.
You're saying these things are just like, oh, well, they have like these small little moments.
The world is whimsical. Even the actual villains, the monsters, have whimsical interactions.
You have these small little like moments and aspects that are quaint doesn't necessarily make you quaint, though.
I'm not saying he is like. Well, actually, I am. Kaiju number 8, main character is a quaint dude. That dude is a whimsical dude. He is. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm saying the world is because that's how we define the entire protagonist side. It is one of the defining features that there's a whimsy to humanity, a levity within all of the protagonists. Heck, even the villains express it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Even the villains, the monster bad guys, once they start talking, are all playful. They're kind of sadistic and playful, but playful. And some of them aren't even sadistic. Some of them just want to be big and strong and fight something. Like, literally, it's a whimsical universe. It's just a whimsical universe with actual consequence. That doesn't mean it's not whimsical. It just means there's consequence after the whimsy. It's why we like it, because it's a weird combination of those two things. You can say the combination of those two things is itself whimsical because it's a weirdly attractive combination of what should be normally unattractive traits. Things that don't mesh that do. Pairing that kind of lightheartedness with that kind of tragedy is whimsical.
I can't see it, because like when you bring up the villains where you're just like, they're in itself whimsical, and I'm just like, no, they're not. Like, yes, they are they are.
Name one villain from that series that can speak that is not whimsical. That you don't think ever has lighthearted moments or is ever framed lightheartedly.
I'm trying to remember his number. I don't remember his name. Big ass guy. Big ass man. Big ass dude.
The big one that just wants to fight? He's absolutely wholesome and cute and ends up being a protagonist.
I just...
That's how whimsical he was. The very dude who he fought the hardest gets to wear him, and they have a friendship afterwards.
I'm not gonna lie, at this point, I think this is just a perspective thing. Because I look at that, I don't look at that as wholesome or whimsical.
You don't think it's kind of wholesome? That not only did he get what he wanted, he got to fight a dude, right? He got to fight the strongest dude around. And then he got to be defeated by the strongest dude. And then he got to fight with the strongest dude around and actually made a partnership bond with him.
No.
You don't think any of that?
No. It's kind of manic and kind of sadistic at the same time, honestly.
You have some issues to work through. You can't read into the whimsy of that.
I think the anime doesn't set it up.
Absolutely does. And we know it does because one of its primary tags is comedy. We know it is purposefully
I'm not saying that it
because the writers know that
I'm not saying that it doesn't have comedy, but that aspect,
no.
I don't look at that as comedy.
One of its main tags is comedy. It has comedy in it. It is declaratively in the comedy genre.
What I'm telling you is, yes, Kaiju number 8 is in the comedy genre for a good reason. But the moments that you just talked about with the dude, I don't look at that as one of those comedy moments. It just doesn't come off to me. That's why I think we're never going to get past this. At this point, it is just a perspective thing. Because you look at that, you're like, damn, that's whimsical. And I look at that, and I'm like, that's sadistic. But I like the fact that's sadistic.
What sadism is there in the dude literally being like, it was a good fight? That's just a wholesome moment. What's sadistic about that?
It's not the fact that he's like, damn, that's a good fight. Because if it was just a good fight, then it would be protected.
That's literally... after being defeated, and after being nothing but like a spine or something, he literally goes, I got what I want. I'm happy with how it went.
It's the obsession with nothing to fighting and how intense they push it.
There wasn't an obsession. He was satisfied. No, if there was obsession, he wouldn't be satisfied.
Well, no, that's why he wants... But that's what also he wants to... This is spoilers, by the way. This is spoiler for the manga, by the way.
Spoilers for Kaiju number 8, which we weren't going to talk about this time around.
But it's to the point where, what was I going to say? Wow. It's like those scenes where he's like, he's trying to convince Hoshino. He's trying to convince Hoshino to be like, no, make me a weapon because I want to keep fighting more. It's like that level of obsession that monster has. And honestly, with a lot of the other monsters as well, where it's like, for me, it goes past whimsical. It goes into like, insanity is the wrong word.
Except for it's not a bloodlust thing, and we're shown that. We're given the context that it's not a sadistic or blood. It's not a blood.
I wouldn't say it's like on a bloodlust level. You could be
okay if it's not actually sadistic in nature, if it's not about satisfying a bloodlust, it can still be sadistic in nature and not want to be bloodlust. Hold on. I disagree with it being sadistic in nature, and you have to tell me why you think it's sadistic in nature. The evidence says it's not. He was satisfied with the fight. He was satisfied with being defeated and just would find enjoyment continuing to fight with the man that defeated him. What about that says sadism?
It's the aspect of him wanting to continue to fight, wanting to keep fighting, and wanting to watch Hoshino go down that same route.
Hold on. Now you have to justify that, because I say the reason he wants to fight isn't sadistic in nature. If it was sadistic in nature, it would have a bloodlust mechanic. He wouldn't want to fight. He'd want to kill. The framing is he wants to compete. It's competitive in nature. We know this for a fact. He says it. We're told it.
I still say you could be sadistic with the bloodlust, and also,
but he's not. You have yet to tell me how he was sadistic with bloodlust. He didn't say, "I want to kill more things."
I'm not saying that. I'm telling you, it can be sadistic without the bloodlust, and you keep bringing me up trying to prove. I'm like, there's no bloodlust. You said
with the bloodlust. That's the
I'm sorry, without. Okay. The whole time I meant without.
Then you're gonna have to justify how. How do they tell us, the audience, that it is sadistic?
It's the fact that it's the fact that he's going as far as wanting to be made a weapon, being made into Hoshino. And yes, you could be made with Hoshino's weapon. And I know you could be viewed that as...
What's sadistic about that?
It's the fact that he's only doing it. And that's not the only reason. But one of the big reasons that he wants Hoshino to go down like that same route of being like, no, you're someone who just wants to fight. Like, fuck everything else, fuck that. To a point where I think there's a point where it actually becomes problematic. I don't remember though. It's been a while since I've watched the manga.
Problematic does not mean sadistic.
Wow, I'm fucking stupid. Read the manga.
Yeah. So becoming problematic does not mean sadistic, and you still have yet to say how it was sadistic. I didn't hear any sadism in that. To me, that was I don't know what to tell you. In that case, I think you just have an overly negative. You just assume sadism in everything.
No, I don't view sadism in everything.
Do you think all obsession is sadistic?
No.
Then how is this obsession sadistic? Do you think all fights are sadistic? Do you think all people who want to have a fight are sadistic? Do you think two boxers who want to get in the ring together and have an honorable fight are being sadistic when they do so? Because that's how this character is framed. He's framed like a boxer who wants a competition. He's framed as a soccer player who wants a team as strong or stronger than him to compete against. He's not framed as someone obsessed with the fight, with fighting. He's framed as someone obsessed with finding a challenge equal to his might. If it were just about fighting, he'd be fine fighting a bunch of low-level dudes all day, every day. He's not. He expressly says that that's boring to him. It's about the challenge, not about the continued fighting. So given that framework, what is sadistic? And if it's sadistic, then you have to reframe like everything else and all of challenge and all of competition as sadism. And I just don't agree to that. I won't agree to that.
Okay, I can see the boxer aspect of that, actually. I still wouldn't call that whimsical, though.
The whimsical aspect doesn't come from his want to fight. It comes from his interactions with the characters, the character moments he's given that are wholesome.
I still wouldn't call that whimsical. I wouldn't call that wholesome. I wouldn't call that whimsical.
Then I think you have an overly pessimistic way of reading all content. I think the reason we disagree here on Whimsy isn't just that you weren't defining Whimsy right. It's also that you don't see Whimsy where it is. I actually think that there's something stopping you from seeing Whimsy. You are finding content overly negative.
This is supposed to be.
This is what people accuse me of. I just realized people accuse me of being overly negative on shit, like seeing things as negative, but that's not true. I see all of it and I just talk about all of it, including the negatives. You actually do read into the content negativity that may not be there, or at least fail to read the positivity.
I think there's negativity there. I think you just don't want.
No, I'm willing to recognize the negativity that's there. That's not what we're discussing. We're discussing the positivity that's there that you can't recognize. I can recognize the weird, like he's clearly a villain. Clearly, it's not a healthy framework he has. Clearly, they kill him and tear him out as a spine and then wear him to beat up other villains. Like, there are sadistic aspects to the character and what's happening. I'm not denying any of that. I'm denying, or I'm rejecting the fact that there isn't whimsy in his character just because of those facts. You're like, because of these facts, I can't read Whimsy into this character, is what you're telling me. You're saying, I don't consider any of these interactions whimsical because I believe that this character is sadistic in nature, and I frame all of his interactions as negative, not whimsical.
This is supposed to be a Dandadan reveal.
Well, this might actually reveal some stuff about our opinions on Dandadan.
This is gonna make a bitch timestamp in this.
Yeah.
Because you can't fucking stay on the topic.
Interesting knowing this going forward.
With that being said, I do think this is an important part of the discussion because we needed to identify this part.
Well, we did, but this is also super interesting in our personal lives now because it explains a lot of differences in opinion we have.
Okay, can we not get? Can we not get?
I know.
Come on now.
Outside the podcast, we're gonna have to talk more about this.
Oh God!
Because it explains a lot about our specific tastes in characters. Why you like specific ones that I don't. Why I like all sorts of stuff that you don't. Why it explains a lot. It's a key bit of framework that I'm gonna love dissecting.
This whole timestamp is gonna be just called the definition of defining what whimsical is.
Defining the whimsy in monsters. No, that's it. Finding the whimsy in monsters.
No, it's just gonna be
finding the whimsy.
No, it's just gonna be defining wisdom. Wisdom.
Defining wisdom. No. Title it Defining Wisdom and just confuse the fuck out of them.
Yeah, it's like they're gonna look like, do you mean whimsy? Look, you dyslexic fuck.
Interesting. So yeah, we
So jumping back to Dandadan, since
this is gonna be really interesting. So how the fuck do you view Dandadan? Well, it's just so overly positive you can finally actually see the whimsy.
Well, it's just I think it's
Dandadan, you agree, is whimsical, right?
Well, yeah, but I think it's because for me, I think thinking about it, like looking about it now with this whole discussion,
Spy X Family, whimsical, right? Whoa!
I got
No. That should.
I'm more.
Okay. That shouldn't even be a think about. I actually think that might be more whimsical or equal to Dandadan. Like that's highly super on. Like that's way up on the scale. Like that's a 9 out of 10 on the whimsy scale. If you're saying if that's a question for you, then your framework is really interesting, but it's also really skewed.
Like. Maybe I'm still working off a weird view of what whimsy is. Cause like part of me
fanciful, lighthearted, quaint.
Actually, no, yeah. Cause no, actually, yeah. Okay, yeah.
It took too much thinking.
It did take a lot of thinking.
Okay, hold on. This explains some things. How do you feel about horror movies in general? I already know the answer, but the audience needs to know it. How well do you consume things that scare you?
Oh, not. I fucking terrible.
Exactly. How much whimsy do you see in horror films?
There's whimsy in horror movies. The fuck?
It is one of the defining characteristics of horror as a genre. It's where camp comes from. Is whimsy meets horror.
I can see with some of the older ones. I can't see it with that nowadays. And I am working on. You're gonna tell me shit like fucking what? Oh my god, what's that movie's name? Oh,
I'm not gonna say all horror has whimsy. Not all horror is camp, but all camp horror is whimsical.
Oh no, I would agree with that.
Okay.
But like
Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, that's whimsy. Yeah.
Interesting. What's that one with the clown that Derek likes?
Terrifier?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's that. I would. Yeah, I could call that whimsical. I'd probably call it more Terrifier.
Saw. 9 out of 10 of the Saw movies. Everything except for Saw 1.
You want to call it?
Interesting.
Whimsical?
Interesting. You are better at recognizing horror whimsy than animated whimsy, which is odd.
Hold on.
The Saw movies are super camp, dude. They have neon pink blood in half of them, dude. Well, not half anymore. I haven't seen the most recent 2 actually, so I can't.
Maybe because I'm
there are enough jokes in the trailers though. I'm forced to believe that they're camp.
Maybe it's because I'm focusing a lot on like the gore that
I do. I think you put blinders up, but what about
blinders? Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah, where you're unable to see the whimsy and things that you are perceiving as overly negative, even past the point that are intended. Like the writer intends it to be whimsical, and I think you're reading much more severity than the writer intends.
Actually,
at least in the animated stuff. You had to think about Spy's Family, and that's just 99% whimsy, 1% ground.
I would say Saw 5 onwards is whimsical.
You don't think there's anything whimsical about Saw 3 or 4? Or 2?
This is so far removed from Dandadan. 1, no, obviously, right? That's just not a whimsical movie whatsoever.
It's not a whimsical movie. It has moments of whimsy. Infamously, the twist ending is a joke. It's a moment of whimsy. It's a joke.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
It's a joke that they made more jokes about later on in the series.
Okay, they do make more jokes. A
run-on joke.
Yeah, and that run-on joke in that aspect is that run-on joke itself is whimsical. 2. No, I wouldn't call 2 whimsical. No.
Would you say the Avengers movies are whimsical?
Yeah.
Would you say Captain America and the Winter Soldier is a whimsical movie?
No. Neither is Civil War. No, that's not true. Civil War is... No. I take that back. Civil War is whimsical.
Do you think...
Winter Soldier is not whimsical.
You don't think there are moments of whimsy in that movie?
There is moments of whimsy, but the movie itself is not whimsical.
Okay, interesting. I agree with those. Interesting. Is it just animation you have a blind spot for? Is it? We'll have to continue.
He's so fascinated.
What's weird is you do seem to be able to properly interact with whimsy in live action production much better than animation, from what I'm getting. It like much better. It's a bit weird. So we're gonna continue, but I'm gonna keep that in the back of my head for everything going forward. Everything we ever do together.
Everything ever you say.
I'm finally gonna turn and be like, "Hey, you recognize that as a whimsical movie?" Right? And you're gonna be like, "The fuck are you? We're in a theater, dude." That's the level this is gonna be.
I think I don't talk to you in the theater.
Yeah, that's true.
Derek yells at us. He has to be in between us because we talk in the theater.
You know what's funny?
What?
You know what's funny? I don't talk in theaters the first time I watch things. For some reason, every time we watch something with Derek in a theater, it's the second or third time I've seen a thing.
That's funny.
And he knows that about me. He knows I don't say shit during the first time I watch something. I'm too busy.
Well, because at the second time you're like analyzing stuff. If you're taking
the second time, I'm not just analyzing. I'm vocalizing analyzation. Like that's part of it for me. A part of the processing it.
You need to not go to the theaters. Like, you just need to buy it on Blu-ray.
I do.
Like, if you want to watch it again.
I do.
No, because you go to
I go to empty theaters.
Where?
To be fair, when I go to
stop. I'm putting a pin on it. We're so far. This is supposed to be Dandadan. I've said this like 3 times.
Moving on to Dandadan.
Official start of the Dandadan review.
Sure. Dandadan.
Okay,
let's go.
You say sure, but we spent pretty sure 45 minutes talking about
then let's not go back to it. Let's continue with Dandadan.
Fine.
How did you feel about Dandadan? It's a 10 out of 10 for you. You think that its animation is good?
Yeah.
You think...
Fuck everything else! You don't think the animation's good?
I did not say that.
No! Fuck you!
I did not say
you! That. Do you think I don't give a fuck about anything else! Do you think... Oh, I'm going to start spitting. I'm sorry if I got something on you.
This is such an easy trigger. Yes, I think the animation is good.
Okay, good. Listen! Fuck you, okay?
You think the sound design is also 10 out of 10?
Now, admittedly, didn't focus too much on that. I was really enthralled by a lot of things. Now,
interesting.
Hold on. When you mean like sound design, you mean like
I mean like
OT,
everything from the OT to the use of the OT in moments versus the purposeful unuse of the OT in moments, which may be lacking. But also sound effects, ambient noise.
Okay, all right.
Voice actors, the whole thing.
In terms of voice actors, I think it was good. Both sub and dub. I watched that. Nothing was like blow out of the water, but I think it was.
So nothing was 10 out of 10 in the audio spectrum, but the show itself is still getting a 10 out of 10 for you. Okay, well, let's continue.
Okay, well,
let's continue.
When you put it like that,
that can be a thing. Remember, I give things a 10 out of 10 when they're masterpieces, regardless of their other deficiencies, right? If something is so good in one, it can make up for the.
We do operate in that. Okay, I was saying we do operate.
We're okay with admitting when something can have fault somewhere, but is still so perfect it's worth seeing anyway.
The good just outweighs the bad. Yes.
That it can outweigh
yes.
So right now we're at animation is a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
But audio not necessarily there.
Okay, let's say this. I think the audio is good. I did not have any problems with any audio cues or any audio things.
It just didn't especially impress you.
Yeah, it did especially impress me.
Okay.
But it also
wasn't distracting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, at no moment did any audio cues whatsoever put me on break my subversion or anything like that.
So like next area, narrative. You think the narrative is really solid?
Oh, I think it's fucking great. Yeah.
Okay. I think the narrative is great. Fucking great.
Yeah.
The narrative is 10 out of 10 for you.
I will admit, I do agree.
This is narrative, not writing.
Yes.
A character writing is going to be its own thing in a second.
Yes.
You think the primary narrative is a perfect 10 out of 10?
Yes.
Okay. Character writing. How do you feel about character writing?
I also think it's really phenomenal. In fact, I think that is probably... Its character writing is probably... No, not probably. It is the shining piece of Dandadan.
On that we can agree.
Okay, good. All right, good.
All right. Although, to be fair, I also think that's a defining characteristic of most things I find in the 10 out of 10 range.
You know, I was looking at my top 10.
Avatar, Last Airbender, Full Metal Alchemist,
Oshinoko,
character writing.
Dungeon Meshi. I'm like, huh.
Character writing is more important than anything else for me, and then animation gets the most bonus points for me, but isn't the most important thing for me. Narrative is the next most important thing for me. Like, if you have a bad narrative, it can bring your score down with me pretty quick.
I am the same way. I am the same way, but I think we view narrative differently. You're a stickler loser who needs like an Oscar level.
I really don't. Again, Pacific Rim is gonna be my go-to example of how like I don't need a 10 out of 10 narrative.
Every time we come back, dude, there's always something I gotta harp on you for. Like I think before was like anytime you cry at something, it's just an automatic 10. And you know what?
Isn't even true.
But you know what's funny? Looking back at it, that's absolutely how I operate. I looked at my top 10.
Every time I cry, I put it
I looked at it and I'm just like, wow, Full Metal Alchemist and Jujutsu and Oshinoko. I cried at all the things I cried at. And I'm like, fuck, that was projection. But regardless, but I do think you do like deeper plots. I do think you're someone who does enjoy a deeper plot. I mean, we had the whole conversation.
I think everyone enjoys a deeper plot, but when it's also the focus of the thing. So like,
I disagree. I actually disagree on that heavy.
I don't. I think when a thing makes narrative the focus, everyone watching enjoys when that narrative is better versus when it is worse.
I think
Dandadan does not focus on narrative. It has no narrative focus at all. It doesn't. That is actually one of its defining characteristics as far as
I will agree with you.
We're going to get to my feelings on it.
I will agree with you that it does not have a narrative focus, but I do disagree with you that it doesn't have a narrative.
I didn't say it doesn't have any narrative. I said it doesn't have a narrative focus. Its primary narrative can be boiled down to one sentence. And that one sentence is not interesting and has a lot of flaws if I actually wanted to engage with it on its own level. Yeah. Sure. You want to go into it? You really want to go into
it? No. But I do kind of want to challenge that because I think not that the previous comment you said. I think at a different point I would have agreed with you that people while people might not seek it out, they will always appreciate a deeper plot.
I didn't say always appreciate a deeper plot. I said when narrative is a primary focus.
When narrative is a primary focus,
people will always appreciate when it's better than not. So. And I don't think that's a disagreeable. I think everyone should agree to that.
Hold on. Mm-hmm. So you're saying when the focus is the main thing.
Exactly. When narrative is the main focus, everyone can agree that the narrative quality matters.
Okay, I don't disagree, but I also agree that at a certain point.
Sure, but that point is where the narrative stops becoming the primary focus.
But I mean, what I was saying, at a certain point, it becomes subjective. Because I feel like there are
Sure, but again, I think that subjective point is the point to which the audience says the narrative is not the primary focus. The subjectivity is still in the definition there. I'm fine with that subjectivity, but the subjective point is when people are failing to recognize that the narrative is a focus. So, the part where narrative stops becoming important to people is when they don't consider it important because it's not a primary focus for what they're watching. If I'm going to read Pride and Prejudice, or if I'm going to watch an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice and stop focusing on the narrative, then it's no longer become the primary focus, even if the original content, it was the primary focus of the writer. If for some reason they made a version of Pride and Prejudice that was so beautiful to watch and so beautiful to listen to, that the narrative did not matter at all, even if they flubbed the narrative, somehow they made a horrible adaptation, it still didn't matter. It's because it wasn't the primary focus. Clearly, to the audience, the visuals and the audio, the soundtrack or whatever, were the primary focuses for them. But when you're sitting down and you're watching Downton Abbey, the narrative is the primary focus. Narrative and character writing are the two primary focuses of something like that. It's not the visuals are secondary. It's not the setting. The setting is part of the other things. It's a result of the of the narrative and character writing. It's the primary focus is on the narrative. And if the narrative sucked, if the drama wasn't good, no one would watch Downton Abbey. Even if the performances were still the same, even if the actors were still the same, the viewership would have been limited to just Europe. America would never have cared if the drama wasn't good.
Yeah, that's fair.
Narrative focus matters when the narrative is the focus. Dandadan doesn't have a narrative focus. Has none. Has literally none. Not just figuratively none. I actually think the narrative is purposefully a joke because it doesn't matter to the serialization nor to the actual primary focuses. It doesn't matter to the art, doesn't matter to the character writing, doesn't matter to the characters. The narrative could have completed at any point and it still would have continued. In fact, we can actually see that. Spoilers! Main character gets a testicle back. Narrative still continues, it doesn't really matter. They never make it a primary focus. Even the fact that he has his testicle back doesn't matter. It just doesn't. It's just a running joke that he has one empty testicle.
Okay, no, yeah, okay, that's fair. Now, I don't know if I would necessarily call it a bad thing, honestly.
I wouldn't necessarily either. Okay. I'm going to, but it's not. It's not necessarily the case. For example, the primary narrative of Pacific Rim. I'm going to go to this because it's my go-to example of something I love that doesn't have this narrative focus. The narrative focus is silly and kind of dumb and cartoonish and childish, and it's that way on purpose, but it's still executed very well for what is there, right? It's we need a reason for robots to fight giant monsters. That's really it. That's the narrative. Giant monsters fight giant robots. Humanity is the stake.
In Pacific Rim, the narrative is not necessarily the focus, but it's the vehicle that's helping carry on the thing.
Exactly. And even though it's not the focus, the narrative is executed well. What narrative is there, right? Do we agree on that? That like, not even before we get to character writing, which I think is phenomenal, the just primary narrative of veteran who's been out of the game comes back to pilot giant robot versus giant monsters, have to end the threat, is executed point by point pretty well.
This is a bad one because I thought Pacific Rim was kind of bad.
To many people it is, but that's for different reasons. In fact, it may be because you were expecting a good narrative and there just wasn't a narrative.
Not really. I mean, I saw big robots fighting monsters. I might not have been at the time into that shit, but all I know is you're not there for the narrative. You're there for the big monsters and the fights.
Do you think the giant monster fights were not well executed?
I don't know. There's just something about... I got to think about it, but I remember sitting there and I remember talking to you. I'm like, bro, this is like I for some reason I was using like letter grading at the time, but I'm like, bro, this is like no more than a C for me or some shit. Like it was like...
Okay, but answer the question. Do you think the giant robot and giant monster fights were not well done? If that was your primary focus...
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it was... I don't...
Then I'm guessing the character writing? Because narrative wasn't a main focus.
It must have been the characters. I think... You know what? Yeah, because when I look back at the most recent one I watched, which was the...
Pacific Rim 2 sucks, don't.
No. Sorry, I'm talking about recent kaiju-related movie, which was the...
Godzilla 0?
No.
-1?
-1. I was so invested in the fucking character. And I think with the character, it helped a lot. But I don't think I liked anybody in like Pacific Rim. I think everyone else, I was just like, everyone here's just a cheesy, like a cheesy whatever action movie character.
That's the point.
I don't resonate with that.
Okay, so you think one of the core pillars, that explains your view though, that one of the core pillars, which is the characters, that is one of the core pillars of Guillermo del Toro's writing, is character focus. That failed to you because it was literally part of a genre you don't care about.
Yeah, which is like
the genre tropes that defined how good it was for the rest of us are the very reasons you didn't care about it.
Yeah, like
just those tropes are not your thing.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's one of those things where it's like
you don't like camp action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I've always stated
then that makes sense.
Yeah, and I've always stated that too.
Then we don't have a real disagreement there.
Okay.
For me, it's a great movie because I love those things. You went in, that's not your thing. You don't like those things. That's a subjective difference that isn't a difference. Like it's a difference in the way we enjoy things, but it's not something we can disagree. We disagree.
Yeah. About. Like I'm not gonna lie, you give me more fucking like Godzilla -1 shit. Yeah, I'm gonna fuck with that shit.
I'm the exact opposite. Godzilla -1 is a piece of boring dog.
Oh my god, no, it's fucking good. It's not dead. It's not dead.
It's not boring, and it's not bad. It was.
You just want it in black and white.
First of all, I got my Godzilla -1 -C, and it is better.
Okay, hold on, dude.
But it's still not as good.
We have talked about. We got
everything except for.
We have talked about everything else other than Dandadan.
Back to Dandadan. Okay, going back to Dandadan. Right. Okay, so we've got 10 out of 10 art for you.
Yes. 10 out of 10 art.
Man, probably like 7 probably for audio, right? It's not getting in the way, but it's not doing anything special.
Yeah, because
7 is a good score. It's
no.
Well
Devin is a good score. 7 is because
7 is it's not getting in the way at all. Because the way I enjoyed it when I noticed it.
Yeah, because usually if anything I give it 8 and above is something that I like.
Like has to be special in some way. Like actually special. Yeah.
Yeah. 7 is like. It's like you did not only
6 is like I admit it's above average, but I still didn't care about it. 7 is like it was good, but it wasn't special.
The way I view it is it's pretty much the same. Where it's like 5 is like you did the fucking bare bones.
Yeah, 6 is the average.
Yeah, 6 is like
5 is the average of enjoyment.
Yeah, like, 6 is like
it was there and it was okay.
Yeah, 6 is like you looked at the template and you just copied the template. Okay,
5 is like every Pixar movie after 2020.
No, it wasn't. No, we had this conversation. I keep thinking Red Panda came out after 2020.
I actually still... It did come out after 2020, just didn't come out after 2022. So
okay. But like...
I also still haven't seen Red Panda.
But regardless.
That was just as spicy. I don't actually believe that. They've had at least one good movie since then.
You say that. Anyways.
What movies have they had this?
I don't know. We're not talking about that right now.
I swear I liked one.
We're not talking about that right now.
Okay.
Dandadan. But yeah, 6 is like, you looked at a template and you copied it. Congratulations. 7's like, you looked at a good template.
No. 6 is you looked at a template, you copied it, and it worked. It didn't get in my way. I just don't care about it.
Yeah. 7 is like, you looked at the template and it's like, okay, how
and it was executed very well.
Yeah, it's like you looked at the template and you
there's nothing special.
Yeah.
It doesn't go beyond the blueprints, but it's a very good execution of what I expect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So audio is like a 7.
Yeah.
Was narrative right after audio? Narrative is what for you?
I'm not gonna lie. After that conversation,
because for me it's either an NA or it has to be a low score because and this is what's going to define the difference between you and I is this narrative discussion. Because for me it is going to be a low score. There are opportunities that are not taken. There are considerations not met, and there are actual criticisms that while I don't hold, I can see people complaining about. I can see issues that other people would have, and that's a bit white knighty, and it's a whole social thing. It's about disability, but
that's not the direction I thought you were
like. Imagine people who actually have reproductive issues, and that this is just a joke in their face. Like it's just that is not only not treated seriously ever.
That is, but
it's an active insult in many ways.
That is not the direction I thought you were going to go down.
Oh, that is the direction I'm going to go down. So, but
no, that's just
that doesn't have to be part of your views.
No. I'm not more saying that. It's just, Dandadan has been catching flack.
Oh yeah, for what?
Well, episode 1. Do you not remember what happens in episode 1?
The alien scene?
Yeah, that one was a big one.
I mean,
and then
the school. That's the part of the buy-in to this specific series is that it very specifically is about.
And then
in a way that it's not about testicles.
I know other people also had an issue with the end of like the, I don't know if I call it an arc, but the end of like the second alien arc that happens in the show.
Which was the second alien?
The one where they introduce Loch Ness and Mantis. And how, like, at the end of it, because...
Was that the one locked in the school?
Yeah. And at the end of it...
Was there a complaint about that?
At the end of it...
I mean, other than my problems with it, which is that it's trite and kind of boring.
At the end of it, it's the fact that all of them are basically, like, nude. And people are looking at that as...
Alright, for the record, audience... The buy-in for this series, if you aren't familiar with the manga, is specifically that it's highly sexual in nature. If you're not okay with sex jokes...
Well, I think... Well, to be fair...
Which is also why the episode 1 thing is different from the testicle thing. It's covered differently, but it's also narratively in focus in a way that the testicle thing isn't.
I also think that it's also the fact that the high schools that people have an issue with. Which I get.
Guys.
I get. Before he says anything.
It's a cartoon.
Before he says anything, I get it. I get it, at least. I'm not going to knock anyone. I'm not going to knock anyone for not.
Don't sexualize children, but also these aren't real children. In fact, they're not children.
We don't have to go down this road. At least not now.
They're,
We actually, if you want to
think of them
don't have to go down this road. You know why? Because there's a podcast episode where this motherfucker baits me into this conversation. So you know what? Just go look at that.
Technically, high schoolers in anime, to a certain point, are actually like 2 years old. They're only as old as the first publication of the work. Really.
Alex, I know we had a conversation about this hard discussion. I am begging you as a friend.
So really, it's really fucked up. Because it's like a 1-year-old up there.
I'm begging you as a friend. Please, for the love of God. It's not.
All right. But hold on. We should address it though.
God, fucking damn! This is why I want to bring it up. Oh my god! All right.
Do we all agree that narratives? Do we agree that children do sexual things like at all? Like, do we agree to that?
I'm not.
Do we agree that they do? That they either participate in sexual activity with each other, or experience sexuality in some way? Do we agree they have an internal process of sexuality?
I mean, obviously, when you go into puberty and shit, like.
Okay, are we okay with making fiction about children?
I get.
And as long as it's covered somewhat responsibility, why not also cover the sexuality of children? I'm not saying cover child sex.
I guess like
sexuality as a topic.
I guess people's issues on it,
especially when it's about
I guess people. No, I think
kids
more,
in high school.
I think more people's issues is on how it's handled. Which the first episode, I do feel like I could
oddly wholesomely, no one's actually had penetrative sex in the entire
to be fair,
series
hold on. To be fair, the first episode is kind of wild, which is like
it does because it's setting a tone. It's your content warning for the series. It's almost deliberately way past the point that most of the rest of the series goes to.
No, I don't disagree with that. Like, you don't see anything of that level.
If you're put off by the first volume of the manga / first episode of the series, that's fine. It's not for you, and that's what that content is there for.
Okay. All right. You know what?
It's serving a narrative purpose in a way that a textual warning doesn't always do nowadays.
You know what? Yeah.
Nowadays, a lot of people are used to watching 13 Reasons Why, even after the warning, and then still getting triggered afterwards. At some point, you just need to put the trigger in early to put people off as early as possible.
I remember that.
But that was despite multiple layers of trigger warning.
No, there was that. Listen, I know. I have had a discussion with multiple people on that. It was.
They were very responsible with that coverage.
Yeah, I will give them
not
that.
With the actual writing, but with the
with the warning. Sure, the writing. That shit was
the warnings and the overall.
But
content as well.
Damn. I guess the point of contention is going to be this narrative, and I'm not as hostile as I thought it was going to be, because I do understand your point of it not being the
in
focus.
Harry Potter. Should Harry and
motherfucker Dandadan stop?
I know, but it's
ADHD. Fuck.
It's easier to make the points with less inflammatory content. Harry Potter, almost everyone agrees, past the J.K. Rowling connection.
Nigga, I'm talking about. I tried moving towards the narrative. We're done with it.
We can be done with it, but there's a lot to discuss in there.
I mean,
and it is the primary point of contention for people that are gonna shit talk the series, that have watch it all the way through and then have shit to say about it afterwards.
I mean, okay.
It's like you said, most of the contention comes from the episode where they ended up naked in a hallway. I'm
gonna be the
Sorry, it's kids that were naked in a hallway. That's a funny and embarrassing thing.
I'm gonna be
and it's covered as a funny, embarrassing thing. It's not covered as a super hot thing.
I'm going to be this guy. This is one of these moments, and we've had this conversation with you more. You just have to back down, because no one's gonna care about that deeper narrative of anything you got to say. If they care enough to comment about it. You were telling me about comments where people commented about that specific thing being a point of contention. Yeah, but what I'm telling you is that those people are not going to care for any further for anything you have to say upon that point. Because trust me, I've had this conversation with multiple people already.
Then you're saying that they're not able to learn. They're not able to engage with content that they disagree with at all. I think some of them may be that way, but I think a lot of them are able to engage with it as long as they're not talked down to like a child about it. As long as they're actually listening to something about it, I would hope that they could engage with it if it's covered well enough. If it's covered respectfully or responsibly enough. As long as it's not someone just being like, they're cartoons, they're not real, that's it. Doesn't have to be sexualized. It doesn't matter if you sexualize cartoons. As long as it's not someone just saying that. If it's someone actually addressing their issue, I think they should be able to listen to it. I think most people are able to. That's why most people aren't, but some of them are.
I'm about to say, I was like, you're really gonna
some of them.
Yeah, it's like you're really gonna look at me and believe that, dog. I get some of them. There are people that exist that do.
The discussion is for those some people that might otherwise be turned down the wrong path and have entire segments of narrative they'll never be able to engage with. Anime as a whole, they'll never engage with. This was one of my problems with anime, was the tropes. It's one of the reasons my dad doesn't watch any of the anime I recommend to him. Because of the infamous tropes of sexualization of shit. Like it's
really bad tropes. It takes
it is
weeding.
I agree, but when I recommend something to someone, even if it does portray a version of one of those tropes, it should be taken with the grain of salt that it's better than that trope, or that trope is being covered responsibly in whatever I recommend. It shouldn't be the assumption that the trope is always negative. Most of us readers who read Harry Potter agree that the relationships in Harry Potter are very mild, are covered responsibly. They're not weird, unholy, sexual acts. There's nothing super weird in Harry Potter. Even Dumbledore being gay was a thing outside of the books, and was only a weird thing to the people that's weird to all the time, anyways. Harry Potter's relationship with Ginny never mattered. Cho Chang never mattered. None of those were super spicy, controversial things. This is that same concept, just dialed out to a bigger extreme, and the bigger extreme is because it's part of comedy, which is extreme by its nature. In this case, it's very specifically asexual comedy. That being said, Japan has an issue, and it should be about college kids. What would be lost if it was about college kids? They're not really covering adolescence or maturity or growing up a whole lot. Not a whole lot of the content, the narrative that they do have couldn't just be done with college kids.
I don't disagree with that. I think a lot of people would also agree with that.
Now, if they made actual, growing up, okay, this is going to go back to my narrative issues. This is Dandadan we're talking about. I'm going to go on my narrative issue. That the setting is primed for the maturing of one's body being a primary part of the comedy, right? Okay. It's a kid, he's working out, many people probably would argue that it is part of the comedy. That it's specifically about a nerdy shrimp that's learning to mature into his body and stuff. The problem is that it's not. It's not explicitly in the narrative anywhere, and it's not part of any personal narrative backbone anywhere. It's all being diluted by the comedy aspect, with the exception of is kind of in the background for the women because of the weird focus on specifically and nonchalance around rape comedy, which is a weird thing in it, and it's not always done properly. In fact, in episode 1, I'm going to argue there isn't a real good reason why it went as far as it did.
That's what I said, and you basically... I mean, I get what you mean, saying content warrior, but I also said that, I get why people don't like episode... when they watch episode 1.
We both get it.
Yeah.
But it's beyond just getting it. There also isn't a reason for it to have gone as far as it did.
I don't disagree.
The reason it went as far as it did and showed what it did is titillation. And if the reason is titillation, it speaks to the intent of the writer that they're specifically titillating a teenager in this case.
Yeah.
It's narratively weakening the argument of the story itself.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, the fact that they actually don't acknowledge the real rapiness beyond one additional joke later on, that's in another moment of them trying to penetrate her for her banana, is a thing at all.
Yeah.
In fact, now we have the cliffhanger we left off on is another.
That was a wild, especially since I saw people on Twitter being like, bro, how are they going to animate the scene? I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And then they left on a cliffhanger. I'm like, no, what are people talking about?
How are they going to animate this thing? I can't imagine that going well.
I still haven't read the manga because I'm scared. I'm like, I
haven't read the manga that far. The anime has now gone past where I read the manga.
Oh, okay. Oh, you read that deep. Okay.
No, it wasn't that deep.
That's what she said. But like, I'm like...
Sex joke about having a small penis.
Oh my god. But like, I do wonder how... I don't know what it is. It sounds bad.
Even if it's not that bad, it can't be that good.
Yes.
Like, the best version I can think of is that it does a reference to a very real gang rape scene and then just doesn't go anywhere because she can telekinetically jump off.
I'm not gonna lie.
That's the best case scenario, and that's not good.
A part of me...
Because there's a bunch of human-looking dudes. It's not even the weird alien freaks with robot appendages this time.
I'm not gonna lie, part of me is hoping this is just one of those, like, bad anime memes where, like, people are like, oh yeah, you should watch, like, Re:Zero. And it's actually not that bad, but the internet community has just...
The problem is that it can't be that good. It's not this is gonna be that
No, not like... Okay, sorry. Probably using Redo Healer was a very bad example. But, like, in the sense of nothing actually that bad happens, but...
Don't use Redo Healer. It really is that.
And I would say...
Redo of a Healer is on a technical level not only as bad as you expect based off the description, but technically much worse the longer you continue to watch it.
So much worse.
Did you ever finish it?
No, I only got to episode 4, and I was like, I can't, dude. Try feels disgusting to say, but like, I sat there and I'm just like, oh my fucking god. I at least got, you know what? I was uncomfortable the whole time. But the thing that, I think the part that I remember now that made me just stop watching was that it was like the whole... I shouldn't even be talking about this show, but I have to just because...
Oddly enough, I think it's actually indicative of the content of Dandadan that it brought the show up. I do genuinely think that. Think about where our brains went and why, and it is absolutely indicative of the content here. It's that there is an inappropriate showing of inappropriate content in an inappropriate context.
That's not good. I hate the fact you pointed that out, but I'm glad you did. But
yeah, what was your ick moment? What was your it's so ick I can't watch it?
It wasn't even, honestly, it wasn't even an ick. It just like...
Because I had an ick moment. I also think it might have been episode 3
It's definitely the point that I shouldn't have stopped. I should have stopped way before.
Was it the river scene?
Huh?
Was it the river scene?
I have no idea what you're talking about now.
Oh, thank God. That was my ick moment that I stopped and it took a year for me to come back and
I'll say this. That. It's nothing sexual. It just made me mad because then it was just like, then this is all for nothing and you also suck and now I'm traumatized. Where like they're like in this, like they're in the town and it's just after the like whole brainwashing thing, and or like the memory wipe thing, and they're like, oh, I need a slave, and they're like, oh, I got a slave who's the thing. I'm like, oh, so your cop brings your shield hero. So not only are you filthy, but you're unoriginal too. Fuck you! And I just shut it off. I was like, I don't care.
You turned it off right before my ick scene, which is even worse.
I really don't want to know. I really don't want to know. Like I remember
the Raftalia equivalent.
Oh, don't smutty her name, man. Don't. Dude,
it's just not justified.
I don't need that sweet Raftalia being associated anywhere near this trash. Which is why I didn't say her name.
You're the one who brought up.
I didn't say her name. I said the anime. I didn't say her name.
Fair. You just opened it up for that. You opened up the galley.
You should know better.
Alright, anyway.
Yeah.
So, you can see why I can't. I just can't. I can't give it a perfect score. Nowhere near, in fact. The narrative is not only non-existent, which wouldn't necessarily be an issue, but it's inappropriately existent when it exists.
In terms of the narrative, I get what you mean.
The content that is being shown requires a narrative to show it, and they don't have a narrative, which is inappropriate.
I don't know. I don't know if I fully agree.
Or at least it requires character writing that actually does confront it.
Oh, okay. For the sorry.
But they're sorry. I
realize what you're saying.
Narrative nor character development.
I realize what you're saying. For the inappropriateness, fair. You can't just have. You know what? Fair, because, or at least like, No, actually, no. Yeah, I think I agree with you, because one of the big ones I think about, or a lot of people will go back to, is obviously Berserk, and I'll still stand by everything I've said about it. As there are definitely things in there that go too fucking far, but like, as fucked up as some of the shit is, there's at least some narrative or some like you said.
It's the primary character.
Yeah, it's like the primary character thing, which helps it advance, because it's like, no, it is there to show you how fucked up something is, or how fucked up the world, or the development.
It's not being framed in a positive light.
Yeah, it's being
the problem is this one is.
Yeah,
it's played off as if it doesn't matter. It either has no weight or has positive weight because of the titillation. It's either positive or neutral, and neither of those is appropriate. It needs to be, even if part of the joke, it needs to be acknowledged as actually bad. It needs to have a negative. If you're going to cover that content appropriately, it does.
Yeah, actually,
now,
because the other
that doesn't mean you can't joke about it. It just means that joking about needs to come with an actual message.
Yeah, it needs to come with a message.
Character development or narrative development.
Yeah, or like the framing of it in some way needs to be different. Because I do.
Oh yeah, they could have done it and just framed it way less intensely, and it could have been a way better joke.
I see what you mean now. Because if you did not bring up the sexual stuff, I would have said that. Because my thing away from the sexual stuff is, I get what you mean, that stuff needs like a narrative vehicle, but
or a character writing variant.
Yeah, but that's where I was gonna go, where the character writing is so good,
narrative or character narrative.
But then I was gonna go saying the character writing in the show is so good that
it never addresses these things.
That's the other issue. Is that, but away from that for a second, the character writing itself is so fucking good.
Oh yeah, it's like we agreed earlier. It's the highlight of the show.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where
these characters are super fun to interact with. And
watch. And it doesn't need that narrative vehicle, because the characters hold up the show itself.
I agree.
But I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of ashamed I didn't really connect that earlier. But with sexual stuff that it does address, especially in the first episode, I could give a pass, honestly, to the end of that water episode, because it's like, that's just kind of like a thing that happens. It's just like
you know what's funny though?
What?
I don't have this criticism of the manga.
Really?
The manga is slower paced, so there are sacrifices in the anime that make it faster paced, which is part of how it's animated, portrayed.
Yeah.
Literally, pacing is one of the most important things for it, right? Because manga doesn't worry about pace, and its serialization and the format it's in begs a slower read.
You have time.
The character moments are processed differently. So, for example, it's not just a quick scene that's mostly going back and forth between granted. It's actually entirely different things happening for extended periods of time with much more focus. Not only that, but the character is able to respond to that stimuli in a different way. It's more intense for the characters and not played off as a quick joke. It doesn't happen quickly. It happens over the course of 10 pages. It's just not the same as when it's animated in the vehicle it is, when the music starts popping off and they're doing the quick portal in and the punch, and they jumped over a lot of the actual intensity that made the dark comedy a dark comedy in the manga. Instead, they've eliminated the dark comedy, kept the content, which has dark comedy aspects, but just made it light in tone.
Damn! Man! Well, now They could have done it so easily too.
I know they could have just extended the scene by a few moments, or not even that, one more character interaction or comment.
I'm thinking of just like adding like a narrative vehicle to it, because they add the vehicle of Okarun is interacting with the spirits because of trying to get his testicles back. Why couldn't she? Why couldn't not Hayase? No, that's Nagato.
Why can't her quest be a simulacrum of a revenge quest?
Yeah, like a revenge of being like, I have these powers now. It's part of I'm going to fuck up these aliens for what they did to me.
Exactly. That would be part of the classic shonen tropes. Even is the revenge quest.
I'm so frustrated by that. Yeah. Not only could they bond over that, but it plays off the dynamic that they played in the first episode.
A second A plot that's parallel to the first.
But not only that, but it plays off the dynamic that they had in the first episode of Okarun not believing spirits and Momo not interacting with aliens, and now both of them are having to interact with the thing that they didn't have to believe in.
And now we're going to get to my other criticism, which
that's upsetting.
And that actually brings us directly to the other criticism I have, which is that, and this one does kind of apply to the manga, but especially with the anime, there isn't a difference between aliens and the occult. The anime especially sacrifices all of the importance of one of each. There are a lot of individual moments of one, like reading the magazines of the other, or talking about how Granny is a medium. There's a bunch of those character moments that are gone because they're not part of the pacing anymore. And because of that, there's no character or narrative focus on the difference between an alien and and the occult. And not only that, and this is where my criticism is also applied to the manga, they literally just start mix and matching them. Well, they do they do combos of them, which doesn't make sense.
Well, they do it in the anime too.
I know, that's why I said it's applicable to both.
It's on a offhanded comment, and I remember hearing, and I didn't really think about it until you mentioned it. But there's a point where the mantis ship comes back, and I think Granny mistakes him for a capybara, and Okarun's like, actually, there's a theory that capybaras are just aliens, and it's just like, it's offhanded, but it is kind of mixing the two when they should be treated separately. Yes. With that being said, I can admit, and it might be inappropriate to do, but I honestly don't necessarily care.
Yeah, but I will admit criticism.
I will admit
is that they tried to put a focus there for the characters.
They do.
There's a character focus. Oh, this is your thing, and this is my thing, and we're purposefully, the main character narrative at the start is literally the inverse. One is tied. The person tied to the occult is all of a sudden tied to the sci-fi, and the person tied to the sci-fi is all of a sudden tied to the occult. That's set up as being important, and then they delete the importance.
No, I will admit that.
They just forget it.
Yeah, I will admit, like, it is inappropriate to not care, since they set it up so heavily to the point where, like, the whole reason they get into it in the first place is because of the differences.
The reason they get together and maintain their friendship is literally they use that to continue their friendship with each other.
Yeah,
they're like, okay, but I need the next magazine. Okay, but I need the next, like. It's their justification for their initial reasons.
They even get into like a whole argument about the whole fucking thing. So it's like one of the things.
But then it stops mattering almost immediately.
Yeah. The one that I noticed it's kind of blending. I mean, there's still certain things that are like kind of interesting nods. Like I do appreciate the fact that the mantis ship blood is milk, which explains why they steal cows. I think it's funny. You might not like it, but I was like, okay, that's
like that. That's part of the absurdist comedy that it is.
Yeah,
it is funny. I don't have a problem with that. Why would I have a problem with that?
I don't know. I just you're a boring elitist.
I am, but remember, us boring elitists actually do like our breaks. We like our Pacific Rims.
No, you don't like breaks. You know
why do I like Pacific Rim?
Because it is a vehicle for Evangelion. For evangelical displays.
What way?
You just gotta watch the movie again, man.
No, not like that. Nope.
Yeah, man.
No, not for that reason.
Anyways. Yeah. I think this has to be a situation. I think this is going to be a situation where I can completely agree why you are not giving it its full score because of that reason, and I think it's justified. But I think in my viewing experience, it is something that is noted, but it is not something that hindered my enjoyment to the point where I have to put it down.
For me, it's all part of the same grade. So ultimately, we're way past all my specific criticisms now. I kind of agree on sound, is that it's just not getting in the way. It is done well. 7 out of 10 on sound. I disagree on the OP being as hyped as it is.
Oh, bro, no, it's fucking amazing. I'm just gonna say you're just insane. It's a great OP.
It's a mid OP.
It's a great OP.
It's a great song. It's not a. It's a mid OP.
No, it's a great OP.
You know what's sad? It's a really good song, and it's a fantastic visual that just I don't care about going together at all. I just don't. I separately I enjoy them more than together. They're lesser. It's lesser than the sum of its parts. Nah. The OP as a whole is worse than those two things separated, added together. Like it's just.
No, but honestly,
it's like they're an 8 and an 8, and they combine to make a 7.
Honestly, I you've had this opinion since the leaks for Dandadan.
They're a 7 and a 9 or 6 and a 9. They're a 6 and a 9, and they combine to make like just a 6.
Jesus Christ, which one's the 9?
The animation for it.
Damn.
Pretty damn fantastic. The song is a bit overrated, but. It's alright. It's above average.
I know you're gonna get mad when that wins anime opening of the year.
It better not.
Listen, I am telling you right now, there are only two. We
still have Frieren to consider.
I'm telling you right now, there are only 2 anime openings.
Frieren was too good not for it.
There are only 2 anime openings I see winning.
Have you seen the Frieren OP?
I have, and it's fucking.
Then you should know.
It's fucking lovely.
Win. It should win.
Alex, did I say what I want to win? No. And even then, I don't even know if I want that one to win. But there's only 2 that I see viably winning for the Crunchyroll Anime Awards.
What's the other one?
Mashle. Both of those two were way too big, way too popular, way too entertaining for people to not be
past Mashle Season 1's opening being able to be used?
No. Came out of winter last year.
Ew.
No.
Also overrated, but at least it's better than Dandadan's OP.
They're both made by the same
person.
person.
Enough, that one's the opposite. The animation on its own and the music on its own are kind of mid, but then when put together, they're actually better than each on their own.
Songs made by the same people too. I think you just don't like rap.
It's not that I just don't like rap.
You hate black people.
Yes. Yes, my very much white co-host. I hate the people with the skin color different than me so much. So much. I'm so glad you're white.
Listen, man, I'm just here on sabbatical.
That's not how you use that. What the
I have no idea what a sabbatical is.
I only think I know through context reading. I think sabbatical is when you go away from your job, but not because of vacation, because of training. So like a teacher going on sabbatical is doing so to get additional instructor training, and a priest going on sabbatical is like going to study the Bible with the priest, right?
Broadcast training.
Not how that works. I'm only guessing through context clues, so I don't actually know.
That's fair. Honest to God,
I have to look it up now. That was sabbatical.
I'm going to be honest with you.
A period of paid leave granted to a university teacher or other worker for study or travel. I was totally right based off context.
Nice. So I'm on sabbatical.
No. Traditionally, 1 year for every 7 years worked.
Damn. But
Of or appropriate to the Sabbath.
So two things I think to take away from this. One, this was not. I think this was one of our. I don't know if I'd call it rare.
Oddly productive?
Yeah, one of our more...
weirdly productive.
Oh, yeah, our weirdly...
We didn't disagree on a whole lot, technically.
But it wasn't
but we learned a lot.
It wasn't our angry disagree. It wasn't like the Mushoku Tensei level of angry where, like, we almost hate each other. Like, this was like a exploration of each other.
We learned.
We learned things about
today was us learning together.
I would say this is probably our. You know what? Yeah, I think I'd say this is our like most productive episode. In
on a personal level, maybe. Yeah.
No, I would say. I can't really think.
At least in a while, there have been some. I swear, our first coverage before the meme of me ruining it for you. Of stuff like can you feel my heartbeat better?
We've never reviewed that.
Yeah, we have. No, we did. We had to have.
No.
We had such a productive conversation about it at one point.
We've had
was that off of podcast?
Yes.
Oh, that's such a shame.
Why? Because Derek was part of it.
Oh, it's such a shame.
We have never reviewed that.
We really should.
I don't want to.
It's one of our favorites.
Yeah, but the movie
Yuri on Ice.
The movie got canceled, so I don't give a fucking shit.
I do.
I will rewatch it, but
it's still one of my favorites.
It's still one of my favorites too.
Then we should
because it's just gonna hurt me.
Why would it hurt you? Remember?
Okay, hold on. Hold on. We can go back to this, but I want to say one. But yeah, what I thought was gonna be like an angry conversation didn't actually turn out to be quite angry. You
kind of got my reasons for not appreciating what I don't appreciate.
Yeah, and it's also because it's like it's one of those things where it's like I recognize those, but I had my own justification for overseeing those. Where it's like the narrative stuff. Yeah, it's not a narrative. That's because the character's so good, and like the other stuff. The only thing the problem
is that for me, it bled over into character, and the lack of narrative bled over into ruining parts of the character narrative for me.
Yes, that is fair.
If it had just not had a primary narrative and still appropriately covered everything in the character narrative, I wouldn't have had the issue.
Yeah.
It's an issue for me because the lack of narrative bled into
honestly,
harming the character narrative.
Honestly, even as something like they wouldn't have to address it right away, but even as something as like simple as like when Gigi comes over, like because we don't really see any like that much like physical touch between like most of them in the terms of like hugs and whatnot. But like I would have appreciated a scene where it's just like Gigi goes in for a hug and she's like, "Don't fucking touch me," and it's like calling back to that. It's like, oh.
Yeah, any level of appropriate character, any level. That's bomb. It doesn't need to be much. It can be as simple as that one thing happening one time, and suddenly I'm a million% on board. Yeah, exactly. The problem is that we get the opposite. We get nothing, and then a double down on it being a joke.
Yeah,
the double down could still be explained by a reaction to it. If the other thing had occurred at any point.
Yeah, exactly. But like with that, I think in good faith I can't give it a 10 out of 10.
Interesting. I wasn't actually expecting that.
That to me is such like a. And honestly, weirdly enough, I think a big help with that is actually reading Berserk. Reading something like that can do it like that
really does actually cover mature and overly dark content appropriate to its darkness.
And like not only seeing something that did that, but seeing something so old do that, it's just one of those things where it's like I really just can't let that go anymore.
Like especially that since author was so old he died. And it's still better than things made by modern writers.
Like it is upsetting because like I think I was just taking back the positivity, but like that one they address it. They do kind of treat it like a joke. And I was kind of on the bandwagon of people being like, people just overreacting about this, but like, this conversation coming to me realize.
To be fair, both things can be true. People did overreact to
it both things.
People, people speaking about criticizing the show are not doing it on the level.
Okay, no.
They're just
not doing it on
reaction.
they're not doing it on this level. But I was on the level of like.
There's no justification at all.
No justification, but just like it's not a big deal, don't trip type shit. Like it's like just move past it type shit. But like talking about it and like thinking about the things that it could have done and how like I actually would have appreciated it so much more because you think of all the things you could do with the pairings and it would have given Okaroon another reason to stand up as a man for him wanting to be a man and other stuff like that.
What's funny is it could have remained exactly the same. Part of the reason I don't have that criticism of the manga is because I can read tonality through context in the manga differently than a performer has given it to me. When a performer performs it as if it's comedic, it takes away the possible weight. When I read it and her face looks concerned and when I read it, it reads concerned.
You know what?
When the performer doesn't have the concerned look animated for the character because they've skipped that part and gone over to another part, and instead they're making an audible joke while off screen, changes the entire tone of the scene.
Yeah, it was played pretty lightheartedly, and
it is still lighthearted in the manga. It's just also more appropriate given little context bits that aren't in the anime.
But like,
just tiny context bits.
I still think it's one of the damn. Okay, not gonna lie, I'm so glad I held off on putting out my top 10 because it was like number 2, and because it's 9, because it's at a 9, I don't even think it makes the top 10.
Wow.
There's a lot of...
This went from number 2 in your top 10 to not being in your top 10.
Hold on. Let me see.
Holy shit.
To be fair, I think there was a... I can't remember if I...
Wait, do you mean your top 10 of all time or just your top 10 of last year?
No, top 10 last year.
Okay.
No.
I'm like, damn, that's a big...
No. Dude, it's got a... I like Dandadan. It's not competing with the lights of like Kill la Kill.
I still like Dandadan. I know I haven't given my score. It's still a 7 out of 10 for me. I still really enjoyed Dandadan.
I think it's still great.
I just think it's flawed, and the flaws are not excusable from a certain part of the audience perspective. It's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I can't recommend it for everyone. Yeah. And it will never earn the title of masterpiece because of that.
I think I have to give this. It's not going down significantly. I'd probably give it like a 9. I feel like giving it something like an 8.5. I think that's doing an injustice to the actual good work it does. So I feel like the 9 is appropriate to me.
Okay. What is the best work it does that isn't character focused? Because I'll be honest, for me, if you remove its best feature, it doesn't hold up nearly as well. The animation is very good. But if you take out the character writing, if I were to watch it without any sound and without any subtitles, I'd enjoy what I was watching, but not more than something that actually does contain a strong narrative.
I do think it's visual eye candy, both like you said in animation, but also in character design. I think a lot of the character designs
is super cute, super fun.
Yeah, are just super cute, super fun. Despite the very, very blurred line between the aliens and the spirits, I do still like the world and how certain things function. With like Granny being like, I like with a sense of like I can operate in this one and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't keep that. I really like how the manga's world operates, even though I have criticisms of it, but the anime takes a lot of even that away from me. I don't care about how the world operates because it doesn't operate. It doesn't have any rules. As far as I can tell.
It has rules.
It barely has commonalities between interactions. It doesn't have any actual rules or characteristics. And one of the only defining interactions that seems to be a rule is also a copy-paste from other better shonen, and that makes it a trope, not a internal rule.
If I was gonna knock things down for being a trope, there'd be so much shit that wouldn't be fucking.
No. I'm knocking down for only being a trope. Like, what is the reason given for the multiple instances of like the domain expansions? They're domain expansions. I don't know who we're kidding.
Wait, what are you talking about?
At multiple points, domain expansions occur.
What domain expansions are you talking about?
First at Granny's house, and then in the school.
I can't explain it any other way. They are domain expansions.
There are copy pasta from that makes a trope out of something that isn't explained in world well. In the anime, it is much better explained in the manga, because the manga continues the focus of the difference between the fucking aliens and the fucking occult way better. The anime, though, they're just tropes. They've taken away any narrative about them at all, and they've still kept them in. They just occur.
Okay, yeah,
it's not world building anymore. It's just a thing in the world.
Okay,
it's actually world inconsistency in the anime in a way it's not in the manga.
Okay, I will admit that does just kind of happen. I guess that is just one of those things that just. I guess we're gonna be that guy. If you can make it entertaining enough, it's something that I can look away. If I could sit there, I mean, like, kind of having the fucking same thing. Well. Ooh. Would I put it above Dandadan right now?
What?
I was about to compare Dandadan to Solo Leveling. In terms of, like...
I do put Solo Leveling above Dandadan.
It's so good right now.
Solo Leveling? Wait, it's continuing?
Yeah, season 2's coming out.
Oh, shit, I didn't realize that.
Bro, it's been breaking record. It crashed Crunchyroll, dude.
Nice.
Bro.
I really enjoyed season 1. Season 1 was
I thought season 1 was okay.
I don't get this opinion. That does seem to be the going opinion I've heard the most, but I don't understand it. So it was well written.
Here, let me give you my perspective as someone who thought it was okay. So I think there was a lot of things that I liked. I even years ago I read the manhwa, had the exact same criticism, right? Where it's like I like his I like his powers. I like the concept. It's just there's things there are. At the point where I read, and at the point where season 1 was, the tropes that it was playing off of were still just kind of tropes. Like they were just they were still kind of.
That's clear. So as someone who hasn't read the manhwa, that's true. Is that the framework it's explored in season 1 is clearly just the framework, and you can see that his like primary, for example. I'm just going to use power level as a thing. His growth in power level is a setup for something we haven't seen the payoff for in season 1. In season 1, it's all about explaining how he gets to what I'm going to consider his base power level, which I'm assuming is going to be higher than anything we've seen in season 1, and in competition with all of the side characters they've set up that he has conflicts with, the level 10s or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, the S ranks.
The S ranks. And under that assumption, season 1 is narratively performing nearly perfectly because it's set up the framework that allows him to do that. That's all it is. It's an origin story. It's a Spider-Man 1. It's not him going off and beating Doc Ock. It's not him as his base power. It's teenage Peter Parker learning his framework so that he can have the better fights later.
Yeah, but that's why I gave it a 6.5 at the time, because I sat there because I made a whole review of it, and I'm like, I understand what it's trying to do. I'm like, if I'm
do you
reading,
think it wasn't doing what it was trying to do well?
Well, because I've been burned so much. I've been burned so much. I can't just assume anymore.
No, not assuming. Like, if you took season 1 just as it was, like assuming it never got a continuation even, did it do what it was trying to do well? Did it set up his framework and his growth well enough? I think it did. I think it was very competent at that. I think what bits of character writing we had were good.
Yes, and it is working off. It is working off the framework of me having watched season 2, because I am looking at it like, okay, I'm liking season 2, but is he where it's like is where Jin Woo's at? Is it worth what he went through in season 1? Because like there's some characters that they could be assholes or they could be just kind of whatever, and I'm like, you know what? For what he went through and what he did and how he went about it, yeah, that's totally worth it.
So you would say it did what it did. It did what it was trying to do well.
Yes. In
Is there anything you think it did particularly poorly? This is now a solo level.
Yeah, apparently this is
solo leveling season 1 review.
Oh, I go off it so much. I think a lot of
let's go down the same list. Do you think it was animated well? I think it was animated well. I just don't think it was anything super special.
How do I explain this? Animated well, yes. Choreographed well, no.
It's okay. I'd argue it's not supposed to be choreographed well. It's showing a character who's not.
No. I get that point. Even with that, no.
Interesting.
Yes.
So you think it's animated well, but its composition is lacking.
Yeah.
Not storyboarded well. I think I mostly disagree with that. I think it has competent storyboarding, and I think it has good, not great animation.
Honestly, I think a lot.
I don't remember being confused in any of the action.
I will say this. I do think a lot of my hesitation does come from the fear of it becoming just becoming another like My Hero Academia. You remember how we were fucking in the
hold on. But this sounds like predictive stuff. I don't rate things off of what it might be one day.
Well, no, but like to me, okay. So to me, everything so when I was watching it, everything to me would introduce. It didn't feel like it gave a new spin on those things. That's why for me, when it said there, it's like there was like the video game aspects. There was like the video game leveling aspect.
Except for the new spin is that it's exclusive to one character and only one character.
That's not new. We've seen it before.
It's not new to true isekai, like where someone's stuck in another world and they're given a boon, but it does seem to be unique to non-true isekai. So like in this case, it's pseudo isekai, right? They go through portals into another world.
Sure, yeah.
There are powers from another world given to humans, but it's an isekai in the same way that like Marvel Comics is an isekai. There's a greater universe, and powers from the greater universe get imbued into humans. Like it's
sure.
Yeah, it's like how the X-Men have an X gene that's awakened.
Yeah.
By cosmic forces. It's like that.
Yeah.
Humans have some kind of fantasy gene that can get awakened, and every once in a blue moon, maybe someone has an inhuman gene as well as an X gene that can get activated. So like, that's the leveling thing.
Yeah.
So like, it's basically just superhero sets, right?
Yeah.
Most people are set at one power. Some people can grow, and those are rarer. That doesn't seem to be in many other things. Like, what other things have that specific set of systems? Like, other than things like Marvel Comics, I actually can't think of things that have multi-tiered power systems where people get unique powers, plurality, unless it's a boon given by God in another world. Which this isn't. It's earning a reward within the existing power structure to activate a new power. It's not being given a boon by God. I mean, it might literally function like that, but it's...
I have a theory on that,
it's not that yet. They could reveal it was that, and then it just reverts to being the isekai trope. But then it also gets to benefit from technically having been published way ahead of that trope's popularity. The manhwa was coming out far before that trope was
I know. Trust me.
In fact, technically, soul leveling defined many of the kind of like
I fucking hate you. You always find a fucking way to sneak that trash ass anime in.
Sorry, but it's like Probably the most defining anime of our generation.
You fucking suck.
It is. Name an anime that defines anime production and culture more than that. No.
Yes.
God, no.
Yes.
No. The big,
yes.
No. No, the big three are not indicative of normal anime production. No.
Oh, no, anime production.
I said production, and yes, production. A1 Pictures redefined how, not just redefined, but it instilled a hardcore method of production that now has overtaken the entire anime industry. At one point, the big three got to define anime production for everyone, and everyone was trying to make a big three. Everyone was trying to make the anime that would continue forever.
My apologies.
That's not how it happens.
No. You are right. It did shift because now we have the season.
Exactly. It shifted the entire structure of the anime, the anime everything, the entire engine of the anime production world.
Yeah, I will give you that. It did do that.
It is the defining.
It did.
Yeah.
If not at least one of the
the big three are outliers. They're exceptions now. They are highly exceptional.
Nowadays, sure. No,
that's what we're talking about. Yeah, this generation, ever since A1 Pictures redefined the normal processes for production of anime, anime production like the big three get to benefit from is extraordinarily rare now.
And even then, the big three don't even do that no more. Bleach is doing this whole season thing now.
That's true. Bleach isn't as moved from studio to studio and team to team technically. Even though
not studio to studio. No, it's always been with Paradox. It has always been with Studio Paradox.
How about this? It's moved from studio management to studio management because the studio doesn't answer to the same people anymore. Even though it's the same studio of workers, they're not answering to the same studio heads and studio calls above them anymore.
No, that's just anime industry. Studio management,
exactly.
Yeah, that's just anime industry.
Yeah.
Fair, yeah. No, I'll give you that one, yeah.
So Dandadan.
No, I think we've kind of talked out Dandadan.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very interested going back to Dero with this new perspective. I don't think he's gonna like it. That's my predictive. I don't think he's gonna like it.
He's not. He's gonna have the same inverse gut reaction everyone else has the primary gut reaction for. He's wired like other people are wired to criticize any time sexualization of a child happens in any way. He's wired to fight people that whine about that. He's going to immediately respond as if it's a complaint about that thing that's overly broad. And then only when digging deeper will he appreciate the deeper sinners. And then he'll just say, but it doesn't matter to me. I don't care.
I don't think his initial reaction is going to be for that reason. I think it's going to be...
It's just going to be, I don't care.
No, I think it's going to be more of a... Because he uses it a lot for Berserk, and I agree with him on Berserk. I just don't think it works here. And if he wants to use that, then...
wants to use what?
So I know he'll use it where it's like, oh, well, it's there to, like, emphasize like a certain atmosphere, a certain level of world where it's like, oh yeah, that world is extreme for that reason, and I could get where he's coming from.
That's true.
Yeah, I get where he's coming from.
That is true.
I get what he's and I get what he's getting at for Berserk, and I get
is there to
and I get that like it is there to set the tone for
the problem is that the tone
it's just
isn't
done.
Appropriate.
It's not appropriate, and if they try to do it in a non-appropriate way, they failed miserably. I like absolutely miserably.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't think he'll see it? You don't think he'll agree with that? I think he would. I think he'll not agree initially because the manga does do a little bit more, and that context will be in the back of his mind.
I don't know because
if you point out that in the anime they don't have the additional context.
Because remember we were living together when we were watching, and it was to the point where he was. Thank you. It was like to
Burger King.
They don't sponsor us.
I mean, I showed off Fresca earlier, dude. Oh, fuck. Oh, God goddamn fucking bee. Not anymore.
But it was like to the point where like he was coming and don't you eat that.
Cold.
Don't you eat that. Don't you eat that. But it was to the point where like he was coming in, like anytime he heard the opening in my room, he'd come knock in my room and lay in my bed, and that's he lay in my bed and come watch the episode with me. Keep in mind, I was in my chair at my desk. He was laying in my bed.
That's pretty gay.
That's very gay. I was painting him like one of my French boys.
You know what I just realized? Sprite prints the can design in a way that advertises the person drinking. The word Sprite's facing you while you're drinking. But it's not facing anyone while you're drinking it. Just the nutrition facts.
How about we get to the comments?
It's just poor marketing. Sprite, Coca-Cola company.
So that's what? That's overall kind of our final rating for Dandadan. You give it a 7, I give it a 9.
I give it a 7, and I'm afraid of giving it a lower score.
I'm so upset. What else?
That will go up to 8 if season 2 can competently bring us back and reintroduce sexualization in a important way at all. But it will also go down to a 6 if it doesn't. This is a score that will change depending on how season 2 goes.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm so upset.
And that score will be the new score for the series going forward.
Yeah, with the score, it at the very least drops down to like, it drops out of the top 5, at least in the top 10 for last year, because it's not better. It's not better than No Shoujo.
No.
With the new revelation, I don't want to put it over Dungeon. I don't want to put it over Dungeon Meshi, because Dungeon Meshi was just way too fucking good.
Yeah. And it's not better than Free Run. Don't say it's better than Free Run.
I didn't put it on my top 10. That's because I didn't finish Free Run.
You need to finish Free Run.
I know. But that's a show that I want to watch cognitively.
It might be a good day to do it now. You're emotionally primed now that you're sleep deprived.
I'm not doing that. I have work tomorrow, man. I got a job.
Just
as much as we come off as anime losers on this show, we do have jobs and we do have responsibilities.
To be fair, I didn't have a job.
Okay, but you were going to school.
Yeah.
So that
now I have a job and I'm going to school.
And that's what most people can't do that.
Yeah.
I live with someone who's not doing either. We won't comment on that though. Don't comment on that. Don't comment on that.
You already know my comment. We've talked about it.
I know.
We don't even disagree on it.
I don't think I put it over Alya, because Alya was so
What's
good.
Alya?
Alya, Sometimes I Have a Feeling in Russian.
Oh, actually, that's right. I finished that a while back, and we never talked about it, huh?
You're going to make me so angry. I know it. Please, what do you think of it?
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
It was good. Okay. That's all it was.
You're a fucking loser.
It was good.
Oh, it was fantastic.
It was a 6 out of 10.
No, it's a 9 out of 10. What are you talking about?
Maybe a 7.
No!
It's animated well enough.
It's animated well enough. The characters are amazing. The little fucking mystery shit that they have built around the entire show's great. The way they're built around the whole language fucking shit is great. All the characters have something interesting about it. They don't do much with it, but what they do with it is great.
It's weak.
It's what?
It's weak.
No, it's good. It's great. It's just...
It could be... I've literally seen the same concept done better.
The
problem is, I've seen that concept done better in series where it wasn't a primary focus, and they literally named the show after it, and then did it in the most basic way possible.
You suck, and you suck. You said this the same thing.
But it was good.
You said the same thing about fucking quintessential quintuplets. I have yet to actually find it.
Quintessential quintuplets didn't even do it competently.
I haven't seen a show like that, you jackass. Where is it? I've been actually watching Romance.
It wasn't even good.
No, it was. You loser.
It was average.
Even though I haven't finished it yet, but it was good. You dick.
No, season 1 was average.
All right. Well, maybe not read comments because we have.
Yeah, let's read some comments.
Okay. Let me see if I can find some. I should have curated some ahead of time.
Oh, you didn't curate? I kind of assumed you like copy and pasted.
I meant to. There was a lot. Not okay. Hold on.
Let's go through. Give me a spicy one. Give me a spicy one.
Not when I mean a lot. I'm not saying like we got like a fucking drove, but for us like coming back after like 5 or 6 months, y'all motherfuckers showed out. I'm not gonna lie, y'all motherfuckers showed out and commented.
And let's give them the response they so righteously deserve for coming back and watching our bullshit at all.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of surprised. Also, a lot of our shit also, at least on like Instagram and TikTok, got 1,000 views, which is not a lot, but for a small little thing that us, I appreciate a lot, honestly, and I appreciate y'all. Something real quick. Okay, yeah. So one of the big contentions that a lot of people were having, was your comment on Dragon Ball, specifically on the use of how Dragon Balls are used.
How it's lame, boring, could be done better, and is often made into a joke so they can excuse away for as a narrative device because they're really bad at creating actual narratives.
So,
it's inconsistent whether or not it's going to be used at any point because they are just dumb and bad writing.
There actually is a lot of things that people brought up, and so that's some that I can at least confirm because I remember.
Okay.
And so one of the big ones that I actually do remember is that the Dragon Balls I actually forget are two big things about the Dragon Balls. One, the Dragon Balls are tied to Dende, and I don't know if it's a sense of Dende can not choose, but like his power basically dictates what the Dragon Balls can do.
Sure.
And so there are a lot of things where it's like, oh, you can just
it's another bad narrative device built in to excuse the fact that they don't want to be able to use it all the time for different reasons because they're bad at writing actual consequence into what they primarily built the universe around originally. Yeah, it's it's a bad narrative device.
I didn't think it was that one was like awful.
That's it's not awful. It's just boring. It's a bad narrative device. If the point of the original narrative is that it's a wish granting device, then it should stay as such, and the power scaling of the wish giver is silly. But continue.
Apparently the Dragon Balls have restrictions when it comes to planets as well.
Arbitrary restrictions given at each time the writer wants to finagle their way out of using them, yes. I mean, even the genie wishes have restrictions. It's actually not that unique or rare of a narrative thing.
Well, no, it's not.
It can be a good way of actually using it. Well, the problem is if you keep adding restrictions later on that are weird, or you then go, oh, but the power scaling. The problem isn't that the rule exists. It's that the rules are inconsistent because they don't follow from the first time they were ever told. That is the issue.
Okay, I'll read one positive. I'll read one negative, one positive, because there is someone that's actually on your side.
All right,
but Dragon Balls have different restrictions based on planets, and it takes time to find them when they reappear. Instead of putting days into trying to find them, train and beat the villain. Problem solved.
Sure. Or, since you have multiple planets worth of people that can help you, you just gather them from multiple planets. That's another thing. I actually totally forgot that different planets have different sets of Dragon Balls. That actually opens up way more narrative weakness, because you could just get another planet's Dragon Balls and make another wish based on whatever the rules are.
That also depends on if they allow you to. Because, like, yes, they can go to planet Namek, and they can probably use it.
How would they not be allowed to when you have the strongest person in the universe that isn't the person who doesn't care?
Well, Goku isn't just going to go over.
Why not?
He's not built like that.
Hold on.
Vegeta might be built like that. Vegeta might be built like that, but Goku is not.
If the universe is at stake, Goku won't go and just steal the balls from somewhere else?
I actually don't think
then that's a bad narrative device. Then Goku's a bad character and inconsistent.
No.
We've shown that he's totally willing to beat people to death before.
But bad people, not people who just don't want to give up Dragon Balls.
Except for he doesn't even need to beat anyone to death. He's so far above the power level of most of the other planets in the universe, let alone the other ones with Dragon Balls that are friendly, that it wouldn't even be a consideration. He could literally just teleport in, snag, and go. That's it.
He could probably do that, but He probably won't.
Exactly, which is bad writing.
It's not bad writing.
There's no consequence for him doing so. Why not do it?
There could be a consequence for him doing that. Maybe
Then they should have written that consequence in. They didn't. They haven't. That's the problem. Is this big open bullshit? Just don't have the wish things. Hey, why haven't they gotten rid of them? As long as you're going to do arbitrary bullshit like limiting the power of the people who can do the wish granting and limiting and putting a whole bunch of new rules every once in a while, why not just delete them? Just delete the Dragon Balls.
Because then the show can't be called Dragon Ball.
Why not? You can make that one of the central defining things of this universe is that in this universe, shit went so bad that the Dragon Balls stopped existing. Now that it's a whole multiverse thing, that can be what defines this universe. It's the only one without Dragon Balls, which is why it's important our Goku strengthens up naturally. Because he doesn't have anything else to depend upon. He needs to defend the entire universe from other universes using only his natural strength. That would build into the character narrative that is the primary focus of the entire series. And they choose not to.
Nah, because then we gotta potentially kill off Goku, and he makes money, so we can't.
No, we don't have to potentially kill off Goku. We just kill off the Dragon Balls, and that's our reason for Goku to do what he does the way he does. It builds into it. It doesn't take away from it. Just delete the Dragon Balls.
Nah, Dragon Balls make too much money. The merchandise makes too much money.
You can still keep the merchandise. Now the multiverse shit happens, you can even do weird, stupid shit like having Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Oh, sorry. Have a Black Goku with the Dragon Balls pop up and do it.
And then someone does actually not defend you, but takes your position of. And then they invented the Super Dragon Balls, which are the size of planets that make any wish possible within the universe. The series is a case study in terrible power scaling. Which I actually do agree with that. I do agree with that. It is like
they are wrong. Commenter, you're wrong. It's not.
You gotta fight. You just have to fight with everybody. Though.
It's not.
Even when someone's on your side.
Let me.
Even when someone's on your side, you gotta fight.
It's not a case study in terrible power scaling. It's the example. It's the case study. You're on it, viewer. It is actually the absolute worst power scaling of any thing ever. And that's kind of the point, and that's kind of cute, except for that now we've seen that that done better elsewhere. And done better in jokes. Like, One Punch Man is a joke with its power scaling. It's literally and figuratively a joke. And yet is way better at doing it.
Does so well. And it's so upsetting that people hated season. Not hated, but they disliked season 2.
Yeah, because it has a garbage studio making it with garbage animation. Subpar dubbing.
The animation wasn't that bad. The dubbing was not.
The dubbing was not good.
The dubbing was not great.
And the animation is no. You can't.
I'm not saying. Hold on. I'm
tired of this gaslight. People hated it because it wasn't as good as season 1. If it had been,
I'm not denying that. I've never denied that. It is not as good as season 1.
Then that's
it's not that bad. It is, but it's not that bad.
It's actually even worse than if we had always had the shit animation to start with. Then it could be part of the joke. It could be an in. It could be part of the campiness. The problem is that there was genuine quality in multiple ways, and then we went to not only a more joking narrative, but also with a joke of an animation team. Like, in comparison.
Okay, that comment made no sense. Now that I look at it, it was just like, what the fuck?
Read it. I like nonsense.
Well, no, it was okay. So this is the comment of I guess back in November, you were on. There was like a point in the podcast. I remember watching it when I was editing it, where you just tried to convince me that like everything is a mecha. And so there's a portion where you try to convince me that Nier is a mecha. And so the comment, no, we're not doing that. We're not.
Which Nier? The answer is yes.
No, the answer is fuck you. And they write for the comment. I mean,
it's a mecha, yeah.
I mean, Yoko Taro did say that the androids could reproduce as a human would. So, I don't understand the relevancy when it comes to the conversation we had.
Do you mean kaiju? Everything is a kaiju?
No, everything is a mecha. I remember like there is a conversation where
not everything is a mecha because While Attack on Titan is a mecha.
No, and I'm mad because that person in the mecha club. Someone said that. Someone said Attack on Titan. Yes. You want to comment on that? Fuck you. Fuck you. Right. No, fuck you.
While Attack on Titan is a mecha, you know what isn't a mecha?
You're gonna say a mecha. It's gonna
No. What? No, that's a Gundam. That's I guess a type of mecha.
Okay.
I mean, there's a kaiju. There's kaiju in there too, though. But no.
Adorable kaiju. But go on.
No. One of the most famous kaiju anime properties.
Gamera?
No.
Ghidorah?
No.
Power Rangers?
No. Although you're getting closer with the skin-tight colored suits.
Sentai?
No. What anime?
Oh my god, what's it called? Ultraman?
No.
Kaiju number 8?
All right.
Am I fucking up?
What anime have Studio Gainax made?
Gantz?
I actually don't know. Maybe.
God damn it.
But that's not what I'm going for. Think of actual everything turning into Jesus metaphors.
Have we talked about this show?
Probably not because you hadn't watched it. But you know of it.
Are you sure?
Okay, you might think of it. You might think of it as a mech show. But it's actually...
Are you sure I know? Are you sure?
I'm absolutely certain. And I'm shocked it's taking you this long to get there.
It's because Studio Gainax is one of those studios where I'm just like...
It may have been Studio, but I didn't think it was
I've heard the name, but I always forget of things that they made.
What is one of the primary influences?
Oh, Eureka 7?
No, although you're getting way closer with that.
No, that's Trigger.
Do think Trigger. What's Trigger's precursor?
Oh, Madhouse.
Madhouse, that's it. It's Studio Madhouse. Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker. Oh, bro. Come on, man.
That's my bad.
Okay. SS Goodman? No, that's Trigger.
That's straight up Trigger.
Yeah,
What did they make before they turned it into Trigger?
Oh, fucking Gurren Lagann. Oh.
No, that's...
Oh.
I mean, that's true, but what is Gurren Lagann? What is Gurren Lagann a commentary of? What is it the joke for? You're into the... You're one step now. You're on the last step. I'll give you a hint. This has had like a bajillion
Don't
movies.
Don't the Franks?
That's Trigger.
That's Trigger. Fuck!
It's had at least 6 movies.
That's 6... What is this?
It's had a show. It had a remastering on Netflix that I told you not to watch. You have to download.
Oh my god, Evangelion!
Yeah. Ah! Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of the most famous, not mecha,
why did it take me?
Kaiju shows of all time.
Also, no, I don't know. It's a mecha.
So I would never have this argument about how everything is mecha, because sometimes it's all kaiju.
No, it's a mecha and you're dumb.
Sometimes they're kaiju.
People...
Attack on Titan, mecha.
People get...
Gurren Lagann is a kaiju. During the Franks, too.
People give you shit because, you didn't really elaborate on, your dislike for No Longer Allowed in Another World.
Which one's No Longer Allowed in Another World?
Popular historical figure who is suicidal, kills himself, and then gets isekai and wants to just kill himself.
Oh, it's mostly just because it's dull, boring, doesn't really cover suicidality or nihilism particularly well. It's just a bit overhyped and not particularly special. It just continues to be another isekai, and one it's not even overly edgy. It's like someone who's had no experience with actual suicidality wrote it. Like, I don't even know if that's true. Maybe they did. But it comes off like they really didn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
And maybe that's just the translation into the anime. Maybe the studio just made light of stuff way more than it should have because it doesn't want to go that dark. But yeah, it's not good. It's not particularly good at anything. It's okay.
Another thing I want to point out from
5. It's perfectly average for anime.
Another thing I want to point out for the comment section, people were actually really fucking with your explanation of the essence of what makes a mecha and shit like that.
Shizzle.
Apparently, there were a lot of people there. Not a lot. Okay, not a lot. There was like a couple of people who sat there being like, anybody thought that like the first half of the video he was talking about like mecha like Islam? And I listened back. Shit! And I listened back to it.
I kind of want to hear that.
The way you explain it for like the first like 10 to 15 seconds, I kind of get it. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Viewer, whoever that was, thank you. I have an actually interesting reason to rewatch my own stuff then.
No, wait, hold on.
Is there text at the bottom of the screen? Is that why you're showing me?
No. Why does it sound that?
You got Bluetooth connected?
I do have Bluetooth connected.
Yeah, that would be one. Too much. I'm missing a Bluetooth.
That even though mecha seems core to the aesthetic of the things it's in, it's never the point of the thing it's in. Mecha is always an analogy for something bigger. In Code Geass, mecha was a core.
I do love how the translation was using religious mecha at first.
Oh, did it use?
Yeah, and then it turned into anime mecha when it became clear it was about anime mecha. No, earlier.
Oh, it does!
Yeah, see, it uses...
it does!
Your auto subtitles use the religious
mecha. Okay, well, that's low-key my
To be fair, I hadn't given the AI that does those the context for anime mecha up until that point. It is interesting that it did that, but that is the auto subtitles that put that in your mind most likely, and if it wasn't, that's a coincidence. Even better for it. It is kind of interesting that it works out like that.
Like you
wasn't intentional,
but you hear.
But
like,
I appreciate it.
You hear like the first part of what you say. It's like it's never like the core of what it's in. But I'm like,
I'm not sure I disagree with myself. Even taken out of original context into new context, I could make that analogy work.
No, I
could go with that.
I'm sat there. I'm like, I don't know what's terrifying: the fact that it does sound like that, or the fact that. Given in another world, he could probably spin this and make it.
I do need to read the equivalent of the Torah for Islam. I know they have got a couple different core principle sets with a couple different rule set books. I need to read a couple of them. I when I was a kid, I did a way bigger exploration into Judaism, and I started off with Christianity. Then I did a big one into Buddhism, but I never. Came back around to Islam in a big way, and I really should. It's the other one of the big Abrahamics, and it feels weird having an incomplete set of Abrahamics. All right, guys, I'll try and look into some Islam stuff and get back to you on Mecca.
Another one that got a couple of comments was your rant when you went off of something about like if you don't buy physical media, you should feel bad.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, no, I assume you agree with that.
Yeah.
It was just common, right?
I mean, I also agree with the extended edition of that point, which is if you pirate media that you can otherwise own, if you have the means, if you have the means to own what you're pirating, then you're doing something bad. You're doing something wrong.
That's funny you say that because there's a few people in our comments that actually came out talking about, well, why don't you just pirate shit? It's like this is why we all pirate shit. Like basically, let me see if I can find like a
because it's still wrong.
No, my apologies. That's not true. Sorry, I made that up in my mind. There's just one comment that had pirate flags in it.
Oh.
Which is unfair.
But in response, if you do think, oh well, why not pirate?
No,
because you're still doing more wrong by not paying for your subscription.
No. Here we go. The CEO of the studio still takes the majority of the profit, even though they do nothing, and still pays animators lower than servers in America, $2.13.
Yep,
it's a pirate's life for me.
You're still performing a greater bad doing the piracy if you can afford to be buying the product than you would be supporting that CEO. What you're doing doesn't give the 23 cents an hour to the animator. It also doesn't give the $57.97 or 77 cents to the CEO, but it's also not giving the 23 cents to the animator. You are directly taking away from the profits that might otherwise go to bonuses. In fact, we can see this in recent earnings calls. Studios and teams are now given bonuses based off of how well a show does in ratings. Ratings is views. Is better translated to views than than scores or metrics. But also we see this in the video game spectrum on Metacritic review score bonuses and stuff. You are now participating in negative systems that negatively affect those animators by pirating, even more now than you were before, even though even more profit would just be going to the CEO than before. It doesn't take away from the fact that you're doing a bad thing. That you're doing a bad thing, and a bad thing would occur no matter what. Pirates are not morally righteous. They're just not. It's just not. It's not morally righteous to pirate. It's just not. There's no justification for it outside of the economic one in which you're not in the means to afford the material that you're pirating. In that case, there's no moral ought either way because you wouldn't be able to consume the content without the piracy.
I think we're pretty much done here. Talked for a good minute. Talked about a lot of things.
Support your creators, and again, buy merch. It's more direct, and more of those profits go towards the studio directly. Studio heads and CEOs will still get the majority of the money, but it's way different than there's way more of those pennies going towards the animators themselves than if you get your subscription to Crunchyroll. In which case, it's going through 3 different companies before a penny even gets to the studio.
And if you want to support us as creators, you can go ahead and subscribe.
Do we have Patreon now?
No.
We had talked about doing full unedited stuff on Patreon.
Okay, we got to talk about we got to talk about that because I swear to God, I remember you saying you were against this.
I'm against. I was against the way you directly said it, but I said we should talk about later because I don't disagree with it outright. For example, I'm okay with timed exclusivity as long as it's reasonable. Under 1 month. If we may, as long as we also publish it for free on YouTube, 2 weeks after.
I'm not even a big fan.
I'm okay with that.
I'm not even a big fan of that, but even if I were to do that, I'd probably do it
I'm just not okay with actual exclusive content.
I think exclusive content to an extent. It's one of those things where it's
I'm not okay with exclusive base content. Exclusive additional things opportunities to speak one-on-one or get invited to the show. That's different.
Well, yeah, there's that. But I was talking about
those are paid opportunities.
I've thought in my mind maybe if we wanted to do we wanted to review spicy stuff that we couldn't do on certain platforms.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, but the justification for that is that it could never be on the... piracy, it's that we would be pirates because we can't afford the product. We can't cover that content effectively in the normal means, so we can do so on Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
And provide it that way. But I would want all content created like that to be at the minimum buy-in.
I would not put that at a higher tier. Yeah. Higher tier stuff, honestly, I don't even think I would charge more than $5 unless I'm giving. At least my view is unless for me I'm giving something that's either really really super value, we're talking a 10-hour plus fucking content shit, or an actual physical thing. I feel bad charging any more than $5.
You're undervaluing yourself there. I think we're If someone wants to co-host a podcast with us, be a guest on the podcast, I think that's easily worth.
That's a bit. That's a
$50
That's a bit different. Like I'd be willing to do something like that, but it also would. I don't know how I feel about having people pay to be. It's stuff that we could talk about.
Actually, we could make a cheaper tier if we did a. This would be a lot of extra work, but maybe if we did monthly instead of weekly. If we did a entire Q&A podcast where we let people come on Discord calls with us.
I was going to do a call-in show. Yeah,
exactly. If we do a call-in show, that could be exclusive to that because
although I will say
that would be our minimum viable way of weeding out bad actors.
I will say though, let's focus on the one right now. Let's focus on growing this right now, and then we can expand. Because
we won't do any paid content ever unless we've had a consistent upload schedule for a regular show.
That was my thing. I was like, let's be consistent for a good while before we even consider doing that. But subscribe if you like the content. Comment down below what you thought of Dandadan and all the shit that we've talked about today. We've talked about so much shit. Man.
We managed to talk about quite a few shows, actually.
Yeah, I know.
We basically did a light Kaiju 8. We did Dandadan.
We did solo leveling.
We did solo leveling. We basically did solo leveling season 1.
We did a little bit of Alya.
I still don't know what that. Oh, yeah, no. Why are you pronouncing it like that? I don't think it's pronounced Alya.
It's Alya.
I don't think it is.
It is.
Every time you say that, it confuses me because
it's
I don't think
it's either Alya or Alya.
I think it's Alya.
Is it Alya?
I think it's Alya.
I've been saying it wrong this entire time.
I think it's Alya, not Alya.
Yeah. I think
because it's Russian pronunciation, right?
Oh, it is! And it would be Alya. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. All right. I'm ready to just... Okay. Fine.
Alya would be like a very like European way. Like Western European.
No, that's fair. I feel like we talked about something else too. I can't remember.
We did, but I'm also not remembering.
Like we mentioned certain anime as references.
But, no, we kind of deep dived on something else, right?
No, I swear to God we did.
Short-term memory, not good for us.
Bro, dude, seriously.
20-somethings.
You know, our motherfuckers in our late 20s. Why can I not?
Early 30s in 2 months.
It's okay, buddy. Either way, subscribe to the channel. Comment down below. I don't know, some shit.
Same deal as last time. I'm getting in on that YouTube commenting stuff. Speaking of which, I really do. I need to line up the an account. Yeah.
What do you mean line up an account?
I need to line up the account. I need to before you leave. Let's make sure I'm logged in to that account on something.
Okay.
I'm
telling you, it's worth it a lot more on TikTok, man. The motherfuckers come out.
I will never download TikTok. That's never happening.
It has a browser.
That makes it better? That makes it so much worse.
Don't download it.
I'm not doing that. Not even because I'm particularly patriotic. I just no. Ew. Just ew. Ew.
So much content there.
So much borderline child porn on there. Ew. Oh, just wait until you hear about that shit. That's a whole nother thing.
I haven't seen this. Like I'm
not
not
the majority of TikTok users.
Hold on. I'm not. No. I'm not.
What demographic makes up the majority?
Hold
of TikTok
on. I'm not denying that it's not there. TikTok has its issues.
What is the
I'm just trying to figure
one type of TikTok content?
I'm just trying to figure out.
Do the math. What's the average there?
What did you?
If it's under 18s and it's sexualized content, then the majority of content by demographic and by content is likely underage sexual content. That's only one of the many reasons I refuse to download TikTok. It's probably the same with Instagram too, which is why I don't download Instagram anymore.
I would say YouTube had that issue before too. I mean, they did clean up.
YouTube infamously overcorrects so far generally that it's incredibly difficult to maintain that type of content anywhere on YouTube, and it's been like that for more than 20 years now. It is not the same on YouTube as it is on TikTok. It has never been. The majority of all YouTube content is sexualized minors.
It has
never.
It has
never
had its moments.
It has never reached into the majority of all upload content.
I'm not saying not a thing. No, not majority.
It is that way for things like TikTok and Instagram. It has never been that way for YouTube.
Instagram.
Yeah, no. Same demographic loadout. What is the demographic, the primary demographics for Instagram? I'm willing to bet it's 20 and under women specifically. That makes up the primary user base of Instagram. What is the most propagated content on Instagram?
I actually don't know.
I'm willing to bet it's either personal photos or sexualized content.
Right now it's probably Reels. Reels are probably the big things right now.
So personalized photos, I'm guessing?
No, like the videos, like the TikTok.
It's even worse.
Everyone has Reels. Everyone has some form of short content.
So it's back to the sexualized content.
Even I don't know. Honest to God, it's okay. The sexual content, yes, the sexual content.
And there you go.
But popularly with minors now, I don't know if I'd give that for Instagram.
I'm absolutely willing to bet the majority of Instagram is people 20 and under. Yeah.
Okay, 20 and under, sure. Yeah. But like CP, I don't think so.
I didn't say straight up CP. I said sexual content, not pornographic content. I said sexual content.
Oh, just sexual.
Of minors.
Okay.
That's the majority of content on those platforms.
Are you calling 20-year-olds minors?
No, I'm saying the primary demographic is 20 and under, which means that the majority of the primary demographic is under 18. It's between 13 and 18. If your primary demographic is 20 and under, the vast majority of that is between 13 and 18. Do we agree on that? So the majority of its primary demographic are underage. The most likely primary demographic with the most likely content upload is sexualized content of minors because of that.
For Instagram, I might go as far to say it's probably not mostly minors. People, I would say the probably more better demographic is like...
Even if it's just a statistically significant amount, even if it's just 10% of all content, that would be an issue for me.
No.
It's not that way on YouTube. I know for a fact it's not that on YouTube. YouTube way overcorrects for shit, and the most popular stuff uploaded on YouTube is not sexualized in nature.
Instagram is definitely sexual in nature. Obviously, I don't see the fucking I don't see many minors on there, but I also actively...
I would hope not.
Yeah, I would say...
If you did, it would be because you trained the algorithm to show it to you because it's what you like.
I'm about to say, I was like, I don't fucking see them.
Ideally, if you're a decent human being and you're not 20 and under, you should be seeing things appropriate for your age and demographic. So you're a male. Yeah. That's a.
I will admit there's a lot of sexual shit. It's a lot of cosplayers and VTubers.
Sure, but the majority of the content for you is going to fit your demographics, not demographics younger than you, which make up the majority demographic.
Yeah.
But what they're seeing is that, and people that have curated that content for themselves, people our age who do want to seek that out, are able to curate that through the algorithm as well. It's accessible to them.
Okay, all right, yeah. Accessible, yeah, there's probably an algorithm that they could train. Yeah.
That provides the majority of upload content to the majority of people.
I would say, I don't know if I don't know if it's...
Anime podcast.
Anime podcast.
Anime podcast.
We should wrap up. Thank you. I've said it already like 3 times, but subscribe to the channel. Comment down below what you think. Comment down below on Dandadan. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? Yes, I copied everything, Fantano. Leave me alone.
Why am I a cuck for what I said, and why is he a cuck for what he said? I want to see that in the comments below.
Why?
Be funny.
Okay, whatever. We're done. Bye. Have a wonderful night, evening, morning, wherever the fuck you are. Have a good day. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Holy shit. End it.